Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast. I'm your host, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got DJ D Miles.
What's good? What's good?
Jamie the Great is MIA. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
that dude's in LA doing his thing. This show's presented to you by DJ City. Big shout out to DJ City. And we got a special guest by way of the UK. Our first international DJ, I guess, besides DJ Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Straight from overseas. Mm-hmm. Your resume is insane. I don't know if I can even list everything, but we got DJ Yoda in the building.
Yo, what's up? Good to be here.
It's good, man.
I'm jet lagged.
You're jet lagged.
Still, I've had a huge breakfast, huge American style breakfast.
That's
you guys
good.
just have insanely huge breakfasts here.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You guys don't eat like that in the UK?
No, we do not.
No.
Like, yeah, you're like. I mean, what we had this morning was like. Yeah, you wouldn't get that in the UK.
Shout out to we got Mighty Mike on the sidelines over here.
Yeah. They got Mighty Mike.
What did Milo feed you over here?
He found me some spot that was like, what was it, man? It was good. It was like some like not chain shit. It was not some hotel shit. It was like real Vegas.
Where'd you
shit.
take him now?
The coffee pub on Sahara, you know it?
No, I don't
No, that's
Right
why.
off the 15.
So you had like the waffles?
No, I went in with
the
the huevos rancheros, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They probably brought this big skillet out with all that shit
It's
on it.
just a lot of food. It's just generally here, man. The amount of food in this country is bewildering for a Brit.
Okay, he's already started on the shitting on US.
So this is what I'm here for, man. Like, you have to
He's
understand.
already shitting on the US.
What-
Yo, this is crazy.
Get comfortable because this is what this is going to be all about, man.
Yo, we've only been like
Is this
we've
payback for Trump? Been in the UK this week?
Yeah, man. This is why I'm here.
Yo,
This is the payback.
Don't get us started on Brexit, man. We got Trump, they got Brexit. They
It's
got a
true.
whole
Yeah,
different
right?
thing.
We got our own Trump situation.
You got your own problems right there. No, but there's a definitely a food obesity problem here with the servings and it's just crazy.
It's insane, man. But just the way that food is set up here, it's just crazy. As a European coming here, it's crazy. It's like watching insane people.
But it tastes different out here too, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
it taste like it's just
The actual produce is different. So like the vegetables that's going into your shit, the eggs that's going into your shit, it just tastes different straight away. And because I do a lot of travel, I notice that around the world. Like for me, Australia, the food is incredible. Every time I get there, the first like apple I have, I'm like, holy shit, this apple like tastes of apple so strongly.
Right.
It blows my mind. And a lot of Europeans are very snobby about American produce. They say that they come here and the vegetables just taste like water.
right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Because it's fucked with. There's all these pesticides and shit.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting organic,
Yeah.
it's not gonna even taste that way. But
Yeah.
it's all types of fucked up.
Yeah.
But once again,
especially in Vegas.
he's
so.
shitting on American food now. Here's the beginning now. Okay.
Because I'm British, I'm gonna like shit on you politely.
You'll make it sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the British, they're so masterful of the English language.
We came up with that shit.
Huh?
We came up with that shit.
with that shit. So I think I've been in the UK. I've been in London like twice.
Right.
And everyone's like super polite and nice. But there are subtle ways when they are kind of shitting on you.
Oh yeah. Like for instance,
Yeah.
in London, excuse me means fuck off.
Really?
Like you're on the tube, you're walking down the street in Oxfordshire. Like, excuse me. Excuse me is get the fuck out of my way. But
Right.
it's just the polite British way of saying.
Wow,
it.
that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I was like trying to ask for directions. I remember at one point, and this dude just went on this like, I don't know, 20-minute like instructional manual, and I was just like, yo, man, this is fucking crazy. I'm like, you guys are too good at the language. You're just like showing off at this point. It's like, well, you're gonna go roundabout and you make a left here, and then you're gonna see this blow up here, and then you're gonna make a right, and then turn around tartly, and then I'm like, what? I'm just like, just
First
do
of
a
all,
left, one right, two rights, left.
your British accent's better than mine. Mighty Mi's British accent. I mean, are you prepared to do that on mic? It sounds Australian. This is crazy, man.
He's doing like the g'day, mate.
No, but you
thing.
do the like Cockney kind of.
A
All
little
right,
bit.
mate. Hello.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. No one I know speaks like that, though.
No one-
but it's at least it's like a version of a British accent.
Let's see. I mean, your resume is crazy. You're on BBC Radio, right? Just every once in a while.
Every once. I don't have a show, but like I'll do mixes for them the whole time.
And then you judge for the DMC World Finals.
I did
right?
that for a period of time, like
Yeah.
3-4 years. I don't.
I mean, you won the DMC.
Okay, but so I guess if you look up my bio somewhere, it says like one DMC.
Well, you were like the DJ of the year for the scratch category,
but
right?
it wasn't a battle. Like I never battled ever in my career. So I'm like, I'm guessing most people that hear this won't really be aware of me. I'm surprised that you guys even know who I am, because I have this kind of like situation where I get to DJ around the world, excluding America. So I'm like,
well, I mean, I think everyone knows of you.
But
Like everyone, like your name is around.
Yeah.
But like no one has the details of what is behind
it's
everything.
never,
You know?
although I spin out here maybe like once a year, it's weird gigs, it's small gigs. It's not like I do in the rest of the world. And I've just accepted a long time ago, it's not going to work for me in America. And the reason for that is because I'm like a white British dude playing hip hop. It doesn't make any sense.
There's a lot of white people playing hip hop.
Yeah.
There's one semi-British dude is Mark Ronson, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess.
He's made quite a career of it. Yeah.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
To me, it always felt weird. I mean, I played in New York.
See, that's another Brit. He was subtly kind of dissing U.S.
I know, right? I would never pay.
I'm not made. I'm I'm in another.
I'm a little better
realm.
than. I'm a little better than to be DJing in the U.S.
Yeah,
I don't really. I don't want to climb downstairs into the basement into the U.S. market. I'll stay up here.
You guys see through my shit too clearly.
Well, you can't say that because you did Las Vegas. You did OTR last night. You did On the Record.
Yeah,
last
that was
night.
cool.
Yeah,
And actually, I played in New York the night before last, and that was probably my best New York gig I've ever had.
Where were you at in New York?
House of Yes in Williamsburg.
Okay.
It's a very dope
Brooklyn,
venue.
yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. It was good
What
for
kind
me.
of music?
So actually, I slotted into a night that was like an all '90s night. So I do these AV shows. So maybe about half the shows I do are with video. And I really want that venue's great for it. How I decide whether to do AV or DJ depends on the venue. Like if there's a really good screen, then I do AV. I really learned that like it doesn't work to do the video stuff on just small little plasma screens all around the clock.
Right.
You need like one cinema size screen. And this House of Yes venue has a really dope screen. But
with AV, just to clear it up, it's like DJing music videos and kind of thing, or
Well,
how to, yeah.
Okay, so what I do is a little bit different. I kind of got my own thing going on with it, where I guess the way that I came up was making tapes. Before all that video scratching technology existed, I would throw in movie samples on top of the beats that I was playing. And so when those Pioneer DVJs came out, and you could scratch the actual movie itself,
Right.
that felt like the natural next move for me. So I started coming up with these shows that were I would like play hip hop and then bits from movies on top of the hip hop and scratch my favorite bits from TV shows. And as it's gone on, it's got more kind of YouTube-y, that show. So I kind of don't really play that many music videos. I play some, but I play a lot of just meme stuff and
Right.
just bits from movies that I like.
Are you making your own edits with like songs, and you're putting your own visuals and
So it's
stuff
kind
and
of
footage?
a lot of thought's gone into it. There's edits.
So
and
doing like a
showing it.
2-hour set is
I don't do
Yeah.
the AV show's 90 minutes max.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a lot of work. Yeah.
It's not so much the work. I'm happy to do the work. It's more the audience attention span. Because I run through music really fast when I DJ. Like I play like 8 bars and move on a lot of the time. So a crowd doesn't want more than, really an hour is ideal for the AV stuff. But for that New York show the other night, I was slotting into a all 90s night. So they asked if I could do an all 90s AV show. So it was a bit more music videos than I'd normally play, but it was crazy. It went off in there, man. It was good. Just
That's dope. Yeah.
That was really good.
You've done so you we're kind of going back into the 90s. You had a party. I guess you were attending the University of Warwick, right?
Yeah, I started DJing at school.
And that's a good university. That's like one of the top 10 in the UK.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were like you said you had a party that you started called Mojo or something?
Yeah, that was like that Mojo thing existed at that university before I got there, but this really dates it. It was an acid jazz night.
Acid jazz.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they would play like
Seems about right for the 90s, right?
yeah.
Yes, around that era. Yeah.
What was it, like Us 3?
Yeah.
Would you Diggable Planets?
Yeah,
Borderline?
that's the same thing. Yeah. That
same
kind
shit,
of
yeah.
Brand New Heavies.
Brand New Heavies.
Yeah.
yeah, all that shit.
Yeah.
So that was what was going on there. The good thing is that Warwick University, it's like you say, like a high-ranking university in the UK, but it wasn't cool. So there was no like, a lot of my friends went to maybe Manchester or Bristol or Brighton. These places, there's a lot of DJs, there's a lot of clubs going on. Where I was, there was nothing. So there was no competition. So it gave me the, like, I turned up, I was like resident.
So you were like the coolest motherfucker there, starting your own party and
exactly,
shit.
Man, yeah. And I got all my practice DJing in front of a crowd during those 3 years because I would just spin there every week and just start to understand like how to work a crowd.
So how were you getting vinyl?
Oh man, in that era, I would go down to Soho in London.
Yeah.
On Saturday mornings is when the US imports came in. So you'd go down and like get treated like shit by the people that work in the store. That was part of the whole experience.
So wait, what year was this around when you were doing
I guess
the party?
this was like...
Because I want to know how long it took for a record to get to the UK.
Oh, it was slow back then, man. Really slow. This was like 96 to 99.
And you were paying, you guys had pounds, so you were paying like...
Oh, man. You know what was crazy was the import CDs, the albums were like... $30 US back then. It was expensive, man.
I mean, I think it was like that also when we used to get imports from England. We used to pay like $30 for vinyl.
Yeah.
In the work the other way around. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
What shit from the UK were you?
The funny thing is, back then, certain labels, they wasn't releasing albums on vinyl, like Jive Records, like all the early Tribe albums. They wasn't releasing it on vinyl.
Yeah.
So you have to get the imports.
Was a British import.
Exactly. Yeah.
Before the Jive American one came out, you had to say, okay, I need it early.
Exactly, and it was costing like $30.
Even the remix album, right?
Yeah.
That remix album they did with the...
Jive had the UK offices, and it was the offices were like one street away from where my best friend used to live, my other friend that was into hip hop. And we always used to, like, we were young, man, we didn't understand it. We were like, so what, a Tribe Called Quest like in London recording like down the... How does that work? Like, it was really, we didn't understand the Jive London connection thing. I still don't really. I mean, what was that Jive outpost in London? Do you know anything about that?
Houdini and Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince recorded albums there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Houdini did that first album out there.
And He's the DJ and the Rapper was recorded there.
Shit, we should just get Milo a fucking mic right now.
I know, right?
Just trying to lay in the cut and be subtle a bit.
So then what were you playing at these parties? Just like 90s hip hop? Like all that stuff?
I mean, at the time I remember...
Like what was the big... There must have been like the staple records.
Like Nas and Lauryn Hill.
Viral
Yeah,
World.
that was... It was that kind of era. Very kind of J-Roo.
J-Roo the Damager?
This was what I was playing, man.
This is the boom bap era,
Yeah, the boom bap era. But my thing was always like... I came from that hip-hop background, but I would throw in everything back then in a way that... And this is what I want to come and speak to you guys. There's this whole like open format thing now. Like this existed like in '96 in London, and I've been doing that for 25 years.
Yeah,
man.
I mean they were just calling it like in the 2000s they were calling it mashup.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like
And
they'd
then
come
now
up with a
it's
different name for it,
open
but it's all just hip hop DJing. Like the DJs that I was inspired by were like Riz and Spin Bad.
Shout out to Riz. Shout out to Spin Bad. Yeah.
And I remember like Riz had this mix where he threw in Chris Isaac, Wicked Game, and Sade and shit like that, and he'd play that in between all the kind of 80s hip hop stuff, and that was the shit that really inspired
it was amazing.
me.
Yeah. It was
even
crazy.
the Q-Bert, the most famous Q-Bert mix, the Demolition Pumpkin Squeeze. You know the one I'm talking about?
No, I've never followed Cuba. You know that?
No.
It's like the most famous Q-Bert mix, but it was like all the ultimate breaks and beats, but he was throwing the movie samples, Wild Style or whatever, on top of the beats.
Yeah.
So it was that and Spin Bad doing the 80s mix. That was like a huge thing for me because I mean I went and did a whole mix like
that was a big deal. I mean it was the greatest shit about hip hop, and I don't know where it started changing partly in the 2010s. The greatest shit about hip hop was how inclusive it was to like all genres of music. It was like that's why like in the 90s, maybe 90s to early 2000s, when you were a hip hop DJ, you played everything.
Yeah.
Like you played reggae, you played 80s, you
I mean,
played
it goes
rock
right back
classics,
to
right?
like the Cool Hercs and Africa Bambaatas
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
of that. Like
That's hip-hop. Yeah.
Playing country and movie soundtracks and just whatever.
Just playing good music.
Yeah, just playing good music. And the way that you play it makes it hip hop.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that was the kind of, I just stuck to that principle from the day I started.
Yeah, and the thing is, and the whole thing about hip hop is that if you find a dope break or a dope section of any record, whether it's rock, it could be the Eagles, it could be like, Leonard Skinner, it could be anything.
Clearwater.
Yeah, it could be anything as a Pink Floyd or whatever the fuck. If it was just dope and it hit,
Exactly.
And you could just bring and double up and bring it back. It was hip hop.
And that is the way that I always played.
Yeah.
Even back then, like I would do, like in those kind of Mojo days you're talking about, I would play all that kind of like Premier stuff, Crooklyn Dodgers, but then I'd go into an 80s pop bit. There's always a big drum and bass thing in the UK. And the tradition was always that, like, if you're playing every kind of music, drum and bass came at the end. The last half hour was always jungle. So there was like the transition to that. You'd find the halftime hip hop stuff that would work with that.
And you just turn up at the end
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the drum and bass.
Have a little fun.
Yeah.
So then you were doing this 90s party, and then you kind of like towards the 2000s, you linked up with, what is Antidote Records?
Yeah, I mean, so when I came, I was born and raised in London. The Warwick thing is like a couple of hours outside of London.
Right.
When I came back to London, I hooked up with, we used to make this magazine, Phat Lace magazine. It was me, Dan Greenpeace, and a bunch of other people. It was like this kind of satirical hip-hop magazine where we basically just took the piss really badly. Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing that we felt like we could get away with it because we were across the pond.
And it was like a newsletter, and you were just...
No, it was like a magazine.
So the magazine, you was just talking shit about rappers?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, we had like...
Give us an example of something.
I'll give you an example. So I did an article in one of the issues that was like...
Because I have a theory about this.
What?
That's it. But let me hear you. Yeah.
I did one article that was like the top 10 ugliest MCs. And then like, so there was this big hip hop night in London called Scratch that I was DJing at one time, and whoever was in town from the US would come up, and you'd get surprise people like every week. And one of these nights was the week that issue of Phat Lace came out. So I was backstage and we were handing out this magazine to everyone, and Black Eyed Peas turn up, like unannounced, whilst we're handing this magazine out, and my article and the Mexican dude from the Black Eyed Peas.
Wait, who's the Mexican?
I don't even know what he's called.
Is it Apple Diap?
I don't know.
Is he Mexican?
I thought that was
I
the
thought they were like
Filipino
Filipino.
one.
I thought they were all Filipino.
Yeah, you know what? I'm probably just calling him Mexican. That's even worse. I called him ugly, and then I called him Mexican too. And he's not oh man.
Hey, the UK, yo, man, y'all gotta understand how we do shit in America. You can't just call various ethnic people Mexican.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So we were like handing out this magazine, and he's sitting there flicking through the magazine, and I'm like, oh no, don't turn to this page, man. I don't want to get like beaten up by the Black Eyed Peas. That would be not a very good look.
They probably wouldn't beat you up. They just they like outdance you or something with some shit. It's funny.
But yeah, that was the vibe of
who was
the
number one?
magazine.
Do you remember?
Well, he did. Damn,
I
list?
I really hate to say it because he's died now, so it feels like a bad
Oh
thing to
man,
say.
I know.
Just gotta say rest in
Let's see if you
peace.
can guess.
CM?
Yeah. He's there, man.
Wait,
Let's
who?
not say it. Let's not say it.
CM.
Yeah.
CM.
Flavor in your ear.
Oh, Craig Mack. Yeah, rest in peace.
Oh, thanks for saying it.
I was like CM.
Yeah, that was the vibe of Phat Lace magazine. And I think we felt like we're not going to get shot because we're in London, so we can say what we like. Yeah, but
Yeah, that wouldn't pass in New
York,
York. Yeah. Or in America. Yeah.
I know, and there were some, but I mean, not with me. Some of the other guys the guys that actually set up the magazine, there were some stories.
So how many issues did you guys last?
Oh, it must have been like a 10, 11, 12, something like that.
Oh, that's
yeah.
pretty good. That's like a year. Is that like one a month?
No, it was two. It was more sporadic than that, man. It was
Something like a 2-year run.
Yeah, one every 6 months or something. I don't know, but you can look them up online. They're actually really funny. Like,
Really?
and
It was what was it called? Scratch.
no, it's called Phat Lace.
Phat Lace,
Yeah,
Phat
the
Lace.
club night was Scratch. The magazine was Phat Lace, and then most of us that wrote for it also wrote for Hip Hop Connection magazine, which was the big, that's
That's
the
the
longest
big
running.
hip-hop, magazine in London, right?
Yeah, and it was actually, I mean, I think he claims that it was the first hip hop magazine
Before the Source.
before the Source.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like a couple of months.
yeah, not by much. But I used to write the.
I don't know if Shecky would like to hear that.
I'm sure he's aware of that. I'm sure Shecky's aware.
Yeah.
And then I would write the DJ page for that magazine. For years I did that, like review mixtapes and talk about DJ tech stuff and everything. But this is like the year 2000. So I guess we all did that for like our proper job, and then the Phat Lace thing was just for fun.
Just on the
Yeah.
side.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then wait, but this is kind of around the time when you started like your infamous cut and paste mixtape, right?
Yeah, so what I was doing during this time was making mixtapes, selling them in all the local stores in London, and then I started copying up tapes myself and sending them out all across the UK and Europe, and then it started, the first run of tapes was like 50, then it was 200, then it was 5,000. By that point,
Wow.
it was like this record company, Antidote, got in touch with me, and they were like, do you want to do an above the board kind of legal mix.
Right.
So that's where those how to cut and paste.
Can you
mixes.
explain what the first one was based on? Like, what were the songs and what were you doing in
Oh
there?
man, I mean, we're talking about. I don't even know what year that first one came out. Maybe 2001 or something.
Yeah, it was
2001.
2001. Yeah.
Right. I don't go back and listen to any of these things, and I do something different every year. So here we
Right.
are, like 20 years after that, and I swear I can't even remember what's on that.
Really?
mix. I would guess that stuff like I play a lot of kind of just funk break stuff that hip hop had sampled. Throw in movie samples, TV samples on top of it, and then maybe play like whatever the kind of backpacky hip hop of that era was. So I guess Mad Lib type stuff.
Right. Like Fat Beats records kind of shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, there was a few groups that were inexplicably really big in the UK that didn't hit the same way in America. So I would put Ugly Duckling, Jurassic 5.
Jurassic 5.
Yeah, this kind of stuff. It's still, people still love it. It still goes down. Those guys kill it in the UK still.
Yeah?
It's weird. Some things stick in Europe.
It's really crazy. I was talking to Blind earlier. He was just saying like the Asia and the Europe market, the world market itself, is completely different from
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, I can
and
see
they
that.
just gravitate to certain things and like the level, like because he's able to tour with like Pharoah Monch, digging in the crates. So Boogie Blind DJs for Pharoah Monch. He DJs for Digging in the Crates. He DJs with Finesse,
Yeah.
Lord Finesse. And there's this long-standing career that they have in Asia and Europe.
So
and
the only two kind of hip hop tracks on my new album, one's with R.O.A.D from Boston,
Amazing,
and one's
yeah.
with Jungle Brothers. And
Wow.
all those guys, they make all their whole career is touring around Europe.
Wow.
Shows in Switzerland and all this kind of stuff. There's big market for it, and it's, I guess, if you kind of take a step back and think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's exactly what happened with blues, with all black music in Europe.
Yeah.
It just, Europe's weirdly kind of behind, but then they also kind of like cling on to it.
Embrace it
Yeah.
a little bit longer than the
Yeah.
States.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in London, everywhere I went to Shortage. And I was like going to every vintage shop out there. I was just like going to every Army Surplus and every vintage shop. And there's that one block that you guys have, right? In Shortage that just has like
Brick Lane.
Brick Lane.
Yeah.
And it has nothing but vintage shops. And every shop I went to was playing 90s R&B and early 2000s R&B. But they were playing it like
Like it was new.
it was just like they were just
It's the
playing it
normal.
like it was
It's the
like
normal.
It was just like these are just classics. Like it was almost like it was like Marvin Gaye R&B, but they were just playing it like this
Right,
is
so,
like you
so
know,
last night
Yeah.
on the record, I played, what was the De La Soul track, Ring, Ring, Ring.
great track.
And there's this British girl in the crowd who knew all the lyrics, and
It's crazy.
It blew Milo's mind. He was like, "What's?" I was like,
Yeah,
"That's normal, man." Like,
but
that's,
they have such a respect for the old music.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it's like when I was going back there were like young people going through vintage, but they knew the Ashanti songs. They knew the Lauryn Hill songs. They knew like Glenn Lewis, like
Damn.
like all of that shit, like Dwele.
Yeah.
yeah. They're like that's what's playing in there. It's like all this amazing R&B that people just forget about, and they still cherish it out there. It's just kind of nuts.
And I've lost count of the amount of shows that I've done with De La Soul. I mean, it's I just play
Really?
with De La Soul like every month. It's continuous. And even it's really funny. I was touring with R.O.A.D the week before last, and we were traveling around the country. We were going through this like tiny village in Somerset, which is West England, is very rural kind of area, and there was this kind of village fair with a dog show and quaint kind of British countryside stuff, with a talent show with all the school kids, and the school kids were all rapping on the stage, but they were rapping like it's 1992, I guess.
Really?
And R.O.A.D was just watching this thing like, what am I seeing? What's going on here?
totally different from America.
Yeah.
like their style of rap was very.
Yeah. It's like a cliche. It's pretty painful to watch, to be honest with you. But it's like a place that's frozen in time.
So you've done shows with De La Soul. So like you had an album, right? The Amazing Adventures of DJ Yoda.
I mean, if you want to like talk about what I've done chronologically, then I did those cut and paste mixes,
Yeah.
which were the like.
Well, no, we could bounce around.
We can bounce around, yes.
But I want to just say that on that album, you had Biz Markie, you had Jungle Brothers, like you spoke of.
Yeah,
You
man.
had Akinelli.
Yeah.
Princess Superstar.
I
And then
recorded with
you-
like MOP, Action Bronson.
Did you link with all of these people I mean, in the early like 2000s, did you link mostly from the magazine connects? Or
I had a club night in London called Spread Love, and it was
it's a great name for a party.
I know, yeah.
Spread Love.
Yeah,
I like that.
It was good. And it was during that kind of 99, 2000, 2001 era, and just anyone American that was trying to get on in London, they would come and play that night. So I made a lot of connections doing that, just putting people on. And the amount of people that slept on my sofa those days that now would never sleep on anyone's sofa. It's crazy. We had
like who? Like
we had like A-Track, Peanut Butter Wolf, Madlib, all the scratch DJs, all everyone. So I made a lot of connections with Americans during that era, I guess.
How was I mean, you were DJing in London, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
How was the London scene in the early 2000s?
There was a lot of different camps at that point. Now it's a lot more kind of everything's blended together, but you would have like...
Were you kind of like one of the pioneer hip hop guys that were coming up?
No, I've always just been like an island. I'm like tread my own lane. Like I'm on the edge of a lot of different things.
Right.
But I just done my own thing. So I would definitely not put me in the category of the like big UK hip hop stuff that was going on at that time. Even I don't really know why, but I think because I refused to play just all boom bap, I was just as likely to play like when all the Baltimore stuff came out, I was playing all that. When there was that big baile funk Brazilian thing, I was playing all that. I was just playing all these different kinds of music, I guess. But there was a big, like for instance, that acid jazz thing that was going on at my university. The scene for that in London, there was a big jazz scene, Giles Peterson and Monday nights at Bar Rumba, and then that kind of like bled into the drum and bass thing and metalheads, Goldie, Blue Note. Like I don't know how much you guys are even aware of all that, but there was a lot of drum and bass, and then there was like a big trip hop thing around that time, which was Ninja Tunes, Mo Wax, Cold Cut, James Lavelle. And they were like very kind of head noddy boom bap stuff, but with no MCs, which makes sense coming from London because we didn't have the rappers for it at that time, so people would just make the beats.
What was some of the trip hop that kind of leaked over to the US?
There were some parties in New York, like Marlo left.
Yeah,
he got bored.
I'm trying to think who.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean.
Shit?
Yeah,
like,
acid. No,
was it like Sneaker Pimps or some shit like that that was kind of like leaking over?
Not Sneaker Pimp, but
there was a party, wasn't there? I feel like it had like jazz or jazzy in it.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a big party back in like the early '90s, mid '90s, all jazz, hip hop.
But then like DJ Shadow would fall into that category as well, and he would play those kind of things in London at that time. And there's always been a big kind of like.
Is Massive Attack considered like
that would kind of fall into the trip hop category?
Okay, yeah.
But it was never really kind of club music like that. I guess they were just more a live band.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it would have done.
So you were just so you were like
I was between all this stuff.
You were just moving around in genres and stuff like that.
And I still do. I mean, that's still me now. Like I just.
So do you consider yourself like a club DJ, or you just
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, kind of. I do too many different things because. Excuse me.
Well, because I want to explain this because I have conversations with Rafticon about some of the DJs in like in I guess London or Europe, and he says they're very they stick to one genre.
Some do, yeah.
And they kind of just like stay there and they stay in their lane and they just. Yeah. I just do this kind of house. I only do this kind of
thinking
disco.
about it. Like I'm the exception to that rule because most people
I do hip hop. I do reggae.
Oh no, down to in the drum and bass world, there are some DJs who are known for playing jazzy drum and bass.
Right,
and that's
all they do.
That's all they do. If you hear anything other than that, then the crowd are disappointed.
Right,
and I guess I just never wanted to have that problem. That would bore me too much, man. I gotta
because Ellie Escobar was talking about that. He would go on world tours. And Ellie would come to London or certain cities, and they would want to hear the type of DJing that his production kind of is kind of similar to. Yeah. Well, what he's known for, and then Ellie loves hip hop too. I mean, he loves all that shit, and he loves reggae, he loves 80s, he loves everything. So when they hear him doing that, they're kind of like, "What is this? Like this isn't the stuff you produce."
Yeah. And the other big thing, obviously, in London was the Jamaican influence, and so
Right.
I would rock
There's
whole parties of
huge-
just
huge
dancehall.
West Indian
Like,
population in the UK, right?
oh, massive, yeah.
For the first time I went, I was really surprised. I didn't think it was that many.
Oh, yeah.
It
And
felt-
even
yeah.
outside of London, like Bristol,
Uh-huh.
Bristol in the west of England, like that's where that whole massive attack thing comes from, and Tricky, and
Yeah.
but yeah, I would often just play reggae for like a whole set because crowds want that.
Yeah.
They're still happy with that. I still like 90s dancehall for like 45 minutes is perfect
That's
for
the
me.
shit
man.
right there.
I know.
Yeah.
I can't really. It's funny how much '90s dancehall is so much more relevant now.
It's Moombahton. It's
Yeah.
the same. It's they all mix together. I that's what I do. I do like a kind of
But we won't-
Shabba Ranks and then a kind
but
of
we won't
Moombahton.
play like old '90s like backpack shit. But that reggae shit, that
Yeah,
shit
it's
still is
it's
running.
timeless,
Still
man.
rocks relevant, man.
It's
Yeah.
I mean,
fucking crazy.
Chakademus and Plies is still like the.
Yeah.
It's insane,
Yeah,
yo.
That's like a top trump card, right? That's
Yeah.
the one.
I mean, if we were going to go through a list of like, the top 10, you've got to have like, Action, Rich Girl,
Murder, She Wrote.
Murder She Wrote.
Yeah, this is slightly different to the UK.
Everyone falls
Is
in
it?
love.
The Murder She Wrote, yeah, but there were some that I think of as like American dancehall ones, and some that are much more.
Okay,
British.
wait. All right.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
what is the British dancehall that's like staples?
Beanie Man, Romy,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
up there.
that's-
Yeah.
I would say
Like Infiltrate, all that.
no,
No?
not so much. No,
That's not?
yeah,
Like Mr. Vegas.
That's like a little later.
Mr. Vegas,
Late
yeah,
90s, yeah.
definitely.
Shabba Ranks.
Shabba Ranks, definitely.
Ting-a-ling, all
Gucci
that stuff.
Banton,
Yeah.
What was
yeah,
that shit
Ting-a-ling,
called? Oh no, who was that?
Red Rat.
Red
yeah,
Rat,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
And then the kind of like hip hop crossover stuff, the Super Cats and all those kind of like
Right.
that. I still play that now. Like that to me, that's just. If
still
I had to
works.
listen to one kind of music in the club, I'd go for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's just crazy how that shit still sounds relevant.
I know,
even
yeah.
now, man.
Yeah.
It still hits. Like even when motherfuckers go to a go-to reggae set,
Yeah.
they're still pulling those.
And then
those
you
genres.
can do the like
the
more.
bam bam rhythm.
I'm trying to think about the newer dancehall stuff, whether any of it's going to stand the test of time like that.
There's only
Because
a
I played
couple, right?
new stuff, but none of it. I stopped playing after 6 months.
It's
I'm
like the borderline soca stuff that's really kind of that's lasted, like the Kevin Little,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
that still works.
Yeah.
the Rupee.
Yeah.
That's kind of like borderline soca reggae. Now you're probably a lot of Afrobeat.
Yeah.
In
I don't
UK.
know too much about it, but if I'm speaking to someone that does, I'm like, tell me the top kind of.
Yeah,
This is what I do a lot in a lot of different genres. I'm like, what are the best like 2 or 3, and the cream of the crop from everything. And that's the kind of way.
One of our a close friend of ours is MoMA. He does Everyday People. It's like a big, like African festival party, and he'll go to London. And it's a big market for him out there.
Yeah.
And I think I went with him to DJ. He was DJing some party, and yeah, the whole night was just 90s and 2000s R&B.
Yeah, man.
Sunshine Anderson, all of that shit all fucking night, and then he
Damn.
played maybe a little bit of Afrobeat here and there.
Talking about that, like getting the best songs from each genre from people.
Yeah.
I played at a Ghanaian wedding last summer, and I don't know anything about Ghanaian music, but
Yeah.
I spoke to a couple of DJs in the UK that I know, and they just sent me a list. Just downloaded it all, and I played it blind, like not knowing the songs,
Right.
and killed it. So it's an interesting experiment to just like play songs you don't know and watch them absolutely just crush.
It's crazy how like DJs help each other like that. We'll just send playlists and we'll send shit to people.
But then there's also
Yeah.
like a line to be drawn of etiquette. Like even in New York the night before last, we were like sound checking beforehand, and the sound guy. No, I was having the conversation with the guy playing before me in the club, and he said to me, "Is there anything you don't want me to play?" And I was like, "Just do your thing, man. It's cool." And the sound guy was like, "Can't you just look at his Serato and see what he's going to play?" I'm like, "Nah, man. This is there's a line to be drawn. You can't do that." No.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you share some tracks, people, but you would never let someone just scroll through your crates and just read everything in your.
You know, there's some DJs that does that, man.
We've had that happen to us.
Oh,
Here,
I would not be cool with that, man. I would have to just be
It's a
like,
little
sorry.
weird.
you
I know
know.
some dudes that ask to see the
playlist, right?
The
Your
history.
Yeah.
I would.
Is that bad?
I
guess
would
we
not
don't
be
think
okay
it's.
with that.
I mean,
I
don't know
wouldn't
how I
be
feel about it.
if I was opening and a headliner said, "Can I see your history?" I'd be like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I guess it depends what you're doing. Like most of the shit I play will not be the original versions of the songs. There'll be like edits, weird remixes, stuff that I've done, stuff that only a few people have. So I'd be touchy about people.
Really?
Yeah.
So if we were DJing and I was like, can I see your history?
I would say,
give me a look.
I'd say, what do you need to know specifically?
Excuse me. You do that. You do the British fuck you. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. I'm like, he was so polite. He said, "Excuse me."
I'm terribly sorry, but no.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't.
I've done it before. Yeah. I mean,
have you done it?
I mean, I have like I'm open for DJs. They'd be like, "Yo, can I see your list?" And I'd be like, "Fuck it, go ahead, check it out."
Yeah.
But then they'll still play the shit that I already played. So what's the point of looking at my list?
Yeah.
When you want to play the song that was played already?
Well, a lot of the time, if I'm headlining in Europe, the DJ before will say, what do you want me to do? What shall I steer clear of? And I'm always that. I just say, do you? It makes no difference to me. I play enough different types of music.
Is there a slight epidemic in London or Europe about openers just burning the headliners?
Yeah, that happens. But actually...
So it's an international problem.
No, that is yes.
It's just not Vegas.
That's just like being a good support DJ or not know your lane, like understand the room. That's a global thing, man. Like, and you get people, but when you do find DJs that do that, it still doesn't work for them because you can't play big bangers at early doors anyway.
It's not ready. Yeah. They're not ready at all.
So they find karma gets them, man. They find out the hard way.
Yeah. It's funny. I did a gig recently, and the opener wasn't burning me, but he was playing certain joints and like Plain Jane and Going Bad and just certain joints. And I've actually done this thing recently where I head to the club at least an hour before my set time.
Yeah, if you can do that, it helps.
It's been so good. Oh my God. Like the worst is because I used to show up to the club 15 minutes before my set and I'd just be really upset and I'd feel like I was like out of the loop and I'd feel like I wouldn't feel comfortable.
It's because there's no connection. You're going in blind. You're like...
I'm going in blind and then I'm getting like intimidated by the opener and then I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not showing up 15, 20 minutes anymore. I'm going to show up at least an hour, if not an hour plus.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see how the night runs through. And that's been working out so fucking... Even when they burn me, I'm still okay because I'm like, wow, this crowd wants this kind of shit, so I'm going to play that
I'll
after,
tell you a story of how that fucked me up this year, though, doing exactly that. I did a tour in Australia and New Zealand with Newmark.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great DJ, yeah.
Who I hadn't actually seen play before. I'd never kind of watched a whole set of his, and what really blew my mind the first time I saw him...
Was he on vinyl, or
he was on Serato?
He was.
Yeah. I would probably say he's like the DJ who's most similar to me in terms of what they play that I've ever seen. So the nights where he was going on before me and I went to watch his set, I'm like sitting there like deleting shit out of the crate as he's playing, like I can't play that. Oh shit, he's playing everything that I would play. And one night, I can't remember, Sydney or Melbourne or something like that, it threw me a little because I was like, I've watched too much of this and it's now affecting it's stopping me from doing me.
What you would do. Yeah.
And so what I did instead, I was like, I probably overthought it a bit and thought about, okay, well, what can I bring to the table that he doesn't do? I guess the more British stuff. So I ended up playing a lot of like UK garage and grime, and I can do that, but it's actually not really me. It's a bit weird, and then I've just made the whole night a bit weird. So maybe I overthought it, but sometimes it doesn't help to watch the dude before.
I guess how many dates did you have with him?
I guess 10 or something.
Yeah, maybe when you're not. Yeah, that's probably. I think it's been helping me when I go to a venue and I don't know what's going on, and that's been helping. But yeah, I can see like sometimes when I work with you, like me and Neva, we DJ a lot. He'll do a certain mix, and I'll be like, "Damn, man, that's good." Like, I think there was a certain mix you do with Hot Boy and Young M.A. And it was like a lot. I kind of like let it. Like I kind of blend them in, and you kind of just drop it at a certain point. And I started doing his mix kind of like that. And then it's like, and then when I'm DJing with him, I'm just like, oh shit, do I do his mix in front of him? Because his sounds a little better than
I've
mine.
seen a lot of people doing my mixes in front of me.
In front of you?
Yeah, I see that the whole time.
I feel like you got to kind of acknowledge the person if they're there, right? You kind of gonna be like, yo,
You got to tap him on the shoulder.
that would be polite.
yeah,
That would be
yeah.
polite. I mean, a lot of time I'll play like people's edits or remixes and they're in the room, and then I'll be like, yo,
Yeah. That's kind of like a salute.
Yeah, it's a salute.
But doing someone's
mix is different. Yeah. And I see people do exactly.
Kind of be
that.
like, yeah, you want a shot? Thanks for the.
Yeah. And some of it's so specific as well, because I throw in like curveballs a lot when I DJ. That's kind of my thing, is like the curveball. I might go into like a country and western 10 minutes where I'll even play like bluegrass, like just wild shit. Just,
wow,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. And I've seen people do exactly that and play the exact songs that I play before me. So they literally just, they've seen me play and just written it down.
It's funny. I feel like with the new generation, I feel like it's a compliment with the new generation.
Maybe.
I think before, maybe 10, 20 years ago, it was more like you're jacking someone's style.
Yeah, because we come more from that hip hop thing of like, it's like me about don't look at my records. You know, that's a very hip hop thing, right?
Yeah.
But for them, I think it's kind of like, wow, I learned that mix from you.
Yeah.
And I'm doing,
So
I'm doing,
paying
this is all
respect.
I know. And this is right now, I haven't really developed my own style. So I'm doing your mix.
Yeah, quite possibly. It's still fucking annoying if you're
Yeah.
watching something.
It still hurts, you know?
You're still like, excuse me.
So when you come to the U.S., like when you did Vegas, you did On the Record last night. Is there? I want to know, like, do you have anxiety about a U.S. market? Do you approach it differently?
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to. Now I just feel much more comfortable in my lane, and I know what I can provide, and I'm not going to try and fit a square into a circle.
You don't try
or
to
whatever.
tailor your set to Vegas or try to do that.
I'm too old now, man.
Yeah.
I've got various. The only thing that I would like, I just stay true to what I love, and I don't ever play shit that I don't love.
But that's something you got to develop as you like towards when you get to a certain confidence.
I think it's an age thing.
It's an age thing because you know that like I've gotten this far doing what I do, and if I lose anything, I'm gonna gain something.
I'm too late now to I just have to be authentic above all else. So for instance, I have like a strict no Drake policy.
Really?
I can't play Drake. I just can't do it.
Wow, man.
What's the reason for that?
I just don't really like the music.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like the new Chris Brown and Drake? It just came out that I've been playing all morning.
I just don't feel it like that.
Really?
And so it's inauthentic of me to do that. So I won't do it.
Really?
I refuse to. Yeah.
He's huge in the UK.
I know, he's huge everywhere. It's just, I'm just being honest with my music taste.
Wow.
Yeah. And there are a few like that. I have, I've mind some. I won't play Rihanna.
Really?
I won't play Rihanna.
What's wrong? What did Rihanna do?
Do venues get mad at you if you don't play? Like,
no,
the managers come up to you and be like, "Yo, you're not playing."
So
Drake.
this is where you guys operate in such a different environment to the one that I operate in. Mm-hmm. There is no culture of that in the UK or Europe that I've ever encountered.
So no one's going to come up to you and say,
no way, man.
This table wants Drake right now.
Okay,
yeah, this guy's
absolutely not. And if they do, I know I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
It would be soul destroying for me to do it any other way. If I do a lot of private gigs, corporate gigs, all that kind of stuff as well. And if I've ever been in situations where they at all try and steer my music policy.
Yeah.
I mean, different, like the New York thing the other night, it's a 90s night. Okay, cool. I love enough 90s music that I can slot myself into that. But if I'm somewhere and I'm getting asked to play a certain kind of thing, that's like a red flag for me. I'm like, I'm in the wrong place. Why is someone trying to do that to me?
It's interesting.
So wait, do you even have Drake in your laptop?
Huh?
Do you even carry Drake?
No, I don't carry Drake for that exact reason. So if someone says like, "Can you play Drake?" I'm like, I literally don't have it.
Wow.
So, but that said, in all honesty, what I will do if I'm in a kind of situation where people can speak to me in the crowd whilst I'm DJing, the like number one rule for me is just agree with whatever the fuck anyone says to you.
Yeah.
Can you play? Yeah. That just gets rid of people the quickest.
Yeah.
Then if they come back, hey, you said you were playing. Yeah, don't worry.
coming
I
up.
got you. The mistake to make is to get into any kind of, no, I can't because I don't like Drake and I don't have Drake.
Yeah.
I don't want the conversation. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
So in the UK, is it very? It's not like a thing where the management or the owners or the promoters will affect what the music that the DJ is playing.
Not just the UK, everywhere in the world. I mean, I've played everywhere in the world. Like I played South Africa, China, Brazil, everywhere.
So that's a US thing.
It's not only
An
a
entitlement
US thing.
yeah.
I think it's a Vegas thing.
Oh.
I think it is a U.S. thing, but I think it's an entitlement thing.
Or it's a bottle popping club.
Yeah, I
bottle
mean,
service.
I've played like that kind of bottle service kind of places in Hong Kong or in Shanghai, where the vibe is more like that. But I would rather go there, piss off the management, and feel good about myself when I leave than
I love it. I love it.
I know, right? Shit, man.
I respect that. I respect that. By the way, it's a very Yoda thing to say, but I'm just saying, where'd you get that name? Just from Star Wars?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first mixtape I made. I just didn't have a DJ name, and there was like a Yoda toy by my turntable. It's a shit. I've always hated the name. I actually don't.
So why you never changed it?
Because it just got too
you
late.
just- yeah.
I did too much, and then it was. I'd done a couple of side projects under different names, and this new album that I've done, it was the first time This is my fourth album. This one that's just come out, and
Homecooking.
Homecooking. I sat with it for a minute and thought, like, maybe this isn't a DJ Yoda album because it doesn't sound like anything I've done before. Maybe I need to come up with a new name for this one. But number one, it's really hard coming up with a name. It's the fucking hardest thing of all. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And number two, I just figured, I guess this represents progression, so whatever, it's DJ Yoda still. But the name, people think I'm like a Star Wars nerd, and I'm not.
That's what I was thinking. Like, soon, like I'm hearing Yoda. I'm like, this guy must love Star Wars.
Because Never's the biggest Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with it like everyone our age did.
Yeah.
I had the toys, you know, but I'm not the dude that
So you
knows
literally
the,
named yourself because there was a toy in
yeah,
front
there
of
was
you.
just lack of anything else.
Wow.
You're not standing online for Star Wars movies dressed as
No.
a character.
I've done some cool Star Wars gigs over the years because of the name, though. Like I played for George Lucas, and
I mean, I saw your clip on
Really?
on your IG channel. Yeah. And you had,
oh yeah,
like,
that was the recent one.
You had the stormtroopers dancing.
Yeah,
while
they
you was
had,
spinning.
John Boyega came up in the booth. He was
Really?
like Instagramming himself with me playing fucking Vanessa Carlton.
God.
It was crazy. Yeah, J.J. Abrams was there. Like, I met.
Holy
and
shit,
then I
man.
played the premiere of the third one of the shit trilogy, the ones around the
I know,
2000. So
the last one.
yeah, not the recent good ones. The
last-
Jar
the
Jar
first-
Binks ones.
Yeah.
So I played the premiere of one of them, and the whole cast was there. George Lucas was there.
Get outta here.
I met George Lucas and all that shit.
Just
Holy
because
shit.
your name was DJ Yoda.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so there was a whole thing at one point when I started bringing out albums and everything, like, oh, you're going to get sued for being called Yoda. So I guess that the night that I met George Lucas and got introduced to him, and then I didn't get sued, I was like, okay, I guess I'm
You're
okay.
That's dope, man.
He's letting you off.
Yeah. Well, apparently the reason is that Yoda is a Japanese name anyway.
Oh.
So if I was like DJ Boba Fett or Chewbacca or something,
DJ Darth Vader.
yeah, that would be an issue. Well, some people got shut down. There was Jedi Knights, were a DJ group in the UK. They got shut down.
Wow.
There was another one as well. Yeah, but I'm good. Yeah.
Yoda still stands over here. Over here. You worked with Banksy?
Yeah.
You actually knew him before he was Banksy.
Yeah, or like this whole Phat Lace magazine connection. You know, one of the guys
Really?
that did Phat Lace with me, Dan Greenpeace, big up Dan Greenpeace, shared an office with him. You know, he was around. Yeah.
He was doing street art at the time?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. And he did that theme park thing in the UK, the Dismaland. He asked me to do one of my AV shows for the launch of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's cool. He like the first time I DJ'd for him was he was like nobody, and it was like some London viewing of his art or whatever, and instead of paying me, he gave me like a signed thing.
Really?
Like a screen print. I never actually liked it much. I never put it up in my house. It was the one with like it's got like an old lady sitting on a bench and a razor coming towards her or something. It was kind of a dark image, and I didn't really So I stayed in a tube for years.
Jesus.
And then a few years ago, I was like, shit, I should dig that out and kind of
See how much it's worth.
Yeah, see how much this thing's worth. It was worth a lot, and then I unrolled it from the fucking tube, and as I unrolled it, like made a crease.
Oh.
And I took it to Sotheby's to get valued, and he said the crease absolutely destroys the
value of
value of it.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I really fucked up, man. Really fucked up with that one.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
How much would it have been worth if you didn't have the crease?
I guess maybe like 10K.
No, more than
I think
that.
it would have been worth more.
Yeah,
I don't know. This was a few years ago anyway.
I think
Yeah.
way more now.
Yeah, man.
I think someone would buy that with the crease.
I ended up giving it to charity. And also it said like 2 Yoda on it, which I think probably decreases the value rather than anything else. Yeah. And then I've also got like a Banksy record in my collection. I've been selling records recently, like going through just stuff that I don't want. And there was a Banksy record that came out, and I looked it up on Discogs, and I think it must be like my most valuable record I own now. It's
Really?
worth a lot, man. Yeah. The
didn't
music
even
on it is
know
good
that.
as well. It's like a kind of, it's like that trip hop era stuff, like kind of just, I used to play it in the club. It's like kind of hard hitting beat, hip hop kind of thing.
Yeah?
Are you still in touch with him or no?
Nah.
It's just like you just moved on through
Well, no, I just don't, I'd known him just through those things.
through those things.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
What do you call when you did the event for him? What was it? It was
I did the original thing I was talking about was like an art showing in Soho, but the Disneyland thing was the theme park thing.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Yeah,
that was the last thing you did.
It was like you and a bunch of other DJs, right? That did this?
They had they took over a theme park and made all kind of art stuff happen. I don't know, but what they would do is on the Friday and Saturday nights they booked one music act. So they did Run the Jewels one night, and then the next night was me, and the next weekend it was someone else, kind of thing. That was a cool show to do as well, because I did the AV show, but I felt like because it was kind of an art thing, I didn't have to like even keep it danceable for the crowd. I wanted to make it almost more like a kind of, like I just didn't worry about keeping the beat going, and sometimes just throw in like random shit from YouTube. It was a satisfying gig to do in a way, because I wasn't worrying about a dance floor at all.
Just like some chill music, everybody.
Not even chilled, actually just arty, just weird. But I've done some of those AV shows in movie theaters, or in an IMAX. I've done a show as well, where people just sit and eat popcorn. And
Never. You were saying that he might be one of the first people to do one of those like kind of AV shows.
Like mixing DJ say with the audio video.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, when I started, it was the DVJs, and I had the Pioneer mixer, the SVM. Do you ever see that? It is a crazy mixer. That's one of the few mixers I've kept, just because it's a dinosaur, man. It's a beast. This huge thing.
When did that come out?
The 2000s?
Yeah, I would say like 2001, 2002, maybe.
Nah,
maybe a bit later.
Later
yeah.
in the States, maybe like 2006 or 7 for us.
Possibly.
When did the Serato music video thing come out?
Like 2007.
Yeah, after that, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I jumped on the DVJs as soon as they came out with that SVM mixer, and it had like a color touchscreen kind of TV monitor in the Pioneer mixer that you could put your finger on and do effects, draw effects on the screen and shit.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's crazy, and it's huge and fucking heavy.
Yeah.
And so what I used to have was this, I would tour with this kind of coffin that had 2 DVJs and that mixer all in the same thing. The thing was crazy heavy. Like, it took 2 people to carry it.
Yeah.
And this one show that I did is on an island off of the UK called Jersey, off the south of the UK. Not New Jersey.
You're lying right now.
Seriously.
It's called Jersey?
That's what New Jersey's named after, Jersey.
So that was the first Jersey.
They're the first Jersey. I
Jersey.
DJ in York as well, man. Like, literally DJ in York and Jersey.
The symmetry.
Yeah.
Man. I hope the OG Jersey is a lot
the
better
OG
than
Jersey. Oh no, it's
no disrespect to New Jersey though.
OG Jersey is a bit weird.
Is it? Okay. So
But they have a big music festival there, and we had a tour manager at the time. We tried to like check in for the flight to Jersey with this great big thing with the DVJs in, and they were the guys behind the desk were like, we can't. The baggage handlers won't even pick that up, and it won't go through. It's too big.
Oh, shit.
So the planes are small, so it's not going to happen. So I called the promoter. I was like, they're not letting us on the flight with the equipment. There's nothing we can do here, man. We're gonna have to abandon this plan. So we got back in the car, and gave up on it. The promoter called back. He's like, wait, turn around, go back to the airport. I've made a call and we're going to get you on the plane. The plane had already taken off. He'd called some politician in Jersey and and said like, this is an important cultural event for Jersey. You got to get this commercial flight to go back to Heathrow.
So they came back?
The flight came back for us.
For you.
For us.
And the mixer.
Yeah. We got on the plane. The pilot was like, who are you guys? I've never had to do this. I was like, I'm a DJ.
You should have said DJ Yoda.
Holy shit, all right.
Like, I'm spinning MP4s tonight. That's what I meant.
How heavy was that? Like 70 pounds or what was it?
I don't know. It took 2 people. That's all I know. It was heavy.
Damn.
But the crazy end to that story was, it never ended up on the plane anyway. They refused. They got it through the check-in, and then they never even loaded it on the plane. So I got, after all that shit, the plane turning around, I got there, the equipment didn't arrive with the plane.
So you couldn't do
anything?
anything?
So I couldn't play. I just went to the hotel, watched TV.
Damn.
After all of that.
Yeah. And then Serato video came out. I was like, hey, this is easier.
Would you rather do AV or do you like how you mix it up?
It depends on what the event is. So I learned a lot doing these AV shows. I definitely learned not to do an AV show at 1 a.m. in a club. It's just not the place for it. People can't multitask like that. They can't watch a screen and dance.
Yeah.
So it's like for early in the night.
It's just for different events. It's not for clubs. I play mainly the place I play are festivals, music festivals, film festivals, food festivals, the London Coffee Festival, the London Beer Festival.
So you would never who does your bookings? Your manager, an agent? Yeah. So like you would tell them, I'm not doing this AV show at a nightclub.
we figure it out. If someone approached me about a booking, I'm like, okay, what's the event? What time do you want me to play? What's the normal thing that happens here? Is there a big screen? These are the things that help me figure out. So about half the time I do AV. But the ideal situation for AV is like a music festival, main stage, just as it gets dark with a massive screen, then it's going to work. Then it's ideal. But I also like doing these kind of like movie theater ones, sit down ones.
Right.
I mean, the first time I played in Vegas was the HBO Comedy Festival at Caesar's Palace.
Was that with Seinfeld? Were they?
Larry David did
Larry David,
Larry David did stand up. I remember that.
I think that's where they honored Seinfeld with like Comedian of the Year or whatever the fuck, or Life, whatever. Yeah.
And that was the right environment because it's like it's got to basically be more like a more cultured kind of, not some like turn up at.
Yeah, someone would do it in a nightclub.
Yeah.
There was a time, remember at a Jet in like when I first moved out here, like
2005.
2000 was it 6
5
and
or
7?
2006.
2006 or 7. There was a video DJ called Rooney G.
Oh yeah, I remember.
In the U.S. And he would do Jet, and it was really clever. It was really entertaining.
With music videos.
With music videos, and it was really entertaining. And he was really dope, and he was a great showman. But it would definitely just take away the room.
Yeah, you got it.
Because they can't dance and watch a TV.
They become spectators. They're not dancing.
So they just
drinking.
stand on the dance floor looking at the
screen.
Well, the other thing is to treat it like a gig, like a kind of live band, 9 p.m. in that kind of environment where you would normally book a band, and that way it's a show. The curtains go back, people stand and watch a show. That's the way to do it. But yeah, if you want people to dance, there's no point introducing the screen like that.
I would analyze the room a little bit, and a lot of the guys would be watching, and some of the girls would be watching, but they ended up wanting to dance.
Yeah, but when you watch the crowd, they're doing one or the other.
Yeah. But I also saw I remember I would talk to some girls, and they would say all the guys are just looking at the TV.
Yeah,
none of them are paying attention to us.
Yeah. It sucks. It's not a club situation.
Yeah. But I thought what he was doing was really awesome. I thought it would have worked maybe early in the night when people are kind of maybe like 11:30 to 12:30. And then like
the other American guy who does it really well is Mike Realm.
I've never heard. Yeah.
He's actually saw him in London a couple of weeks ago. He's DJing for the Far Side, and I was supporting him with Jungle Brothers.
Who's in the Far Side now?
2 of them. I don't know which 2.
I just know it's not Phat Lace.
Oh, it's Trey and. Who's the other one? I don't know.
They had a really dope live show though.
They do,
the full band and everything. It was good.
I remember when they had the Far Side at Lavo. Remember that for the Old School Wednesdays?
Yeah.
They sounded exactly like the record.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what
they sound
the bit
exactly
I saw
like
of
the
it,
record,
that was
yeah.
exactly
It's
the deal.
amazing. Yeah.
But that guy Mike Realm that DJs for them, he's the only other guy I've seen in the US doing anything like what I do with the AV stuff. In other words, it's very movie inspired. There'll be like Pulp Fiction and bits from.
Do you have separate laptops?
No.
No, everything's on
external.
No. Just everything on one laptop.
Wow.
S9. I use Phase now. I used Phase last night on the record.
Oh yeah, how was that?
How you feel about that?
I love it. It's a game changer. It's like desperately needed.
Yeah.
But I feel like they kind of released the product a little early. There's glitches still. Like
Yeah.
Have you run into any?
Yeah, man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's doing
All
a
right,
really
please,
weird.
please
thing.
do tell.
Yeah.
Because we've actually P-Dot is like our kind of tech expert
Right.
for the DJ realm, right? Yeah. You do like YouTube videos and tutorials, but he's been saying you said a pair exploded, right?
The battery overheating.
Like expanding, so
Holy
it's not
shit.
working yet.
What, from overcharging?
They're just bum batteries. Like people that have just been using it for like a couple weeks.
That's
Wait, did it explode while they were spinning?
They just noticed it. Like it's popped up and like.
All right.
So like I was imagining someone DJing and the shit just exploding. No, that didn't happen. That's a better
that
story.
would look pretty dope if it happened at the right moment.
That's a better story though. The shit just exploded. I lost the tip of my finger.
It was in the middle of scratching and the shit just blew up.
The weird shit that's been happening with them is at one point every set, and only once, everything just freezes for 1 second, both channels, and then just carries on. And randomly, it will happen when I
Every time.
Every time, and I'm not touching anything when it happens.
But you're freaking
only
the
once.
fuck out.
It's enough for the crowd to like look, and then you're like, and then it starts again without you touching anything.
Oh, like the music cuts off.
Everything cuts off
Wow.
for like 1 second.
Did that happen last night?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Keeps happening.
It just gives you a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's a horror.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No,
I know.
it's not good, and I can't figure out whether it's. I mean, I've had so many tech nightmares. I mean, up until like the second half of last year, I had this 6-month problem with my setup, which is just S9 laptop Serato.
What was your tech problems?
It would crash every gig.
Really?
Every gig randomly, and again, not from like loading an MP3, not from doing anything.
Your
it's just
Serato
not-
would crash.
Yeah, the Serato would just
The-
hang, just like freeze.
What OS are you using?
Oh man, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Whatever the most recent one is, I just
Yeah,
updated.
I think that's the
That
problem.
might be the problem.
So what happened was I tried replacing everything, like USB cables. It would just happen every time. Still,
Yeah.
I got to the point where it's like I'm gonna have to bounce off Serato. I'm gonna have to start using like Record Box or something. I don't know.
It's the OS.
And I reinstalled my Mac OS, and
Yeah.
it hasn't happened since then. But I don't.
You went to a lower.
No,
or-
I just reinstalled what,
Oh, you
what I
reinstalled
had.
it.
Yeah, I deleted a lot of shit off the laptop. I don't know whether that made a difference, but I think it was the OS thing that.
Is it a new laptop or you had it for?
That's like a 3-year-old laptop or something. This is the shit that terrifies me, man, because there wasn't even like an explanation for that ever. It just stopped happening.
yeah.
So I'm like, and then this glitch with the face things as well. I'm like, oh man. But I would still take that as the problem over what I was dealing with turntables and Serato before this.
What was that? What was it?
Oh, just shit like you'd like sound check or line check and everything's cool, and then 10 minutes into the set, one of the turntables just stops liking Serato, just stopped working. I've done two hour sets in the end of last year off one turntable.
Really?
Because one turntable would just fail mid performance. So you do that thing where you like throw over to internal on the other side.
I don't. You know what, man? You still use Scratch Live, right?
No, I'm on Serato DJ Pro now.
You still use.
I
Scratch.
still use
I
it,
still use
yeah.
Scratch Live, and I have no issues ever whatsoever.
But I need all the extra shit.
Maybe.
I use Mix Emergency for the AV stuff. So I'm
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah,
top of
yeah.
it. I got all MIDI mapping going on and all crazy nerdy shit going on with the Serato. And the problem is, you can never really figure out, is this a Mac problem? Is it a Serato problem? Is it a Pioneer problem? And I've got contacts in all those companies, and they all point the finger at each other. So the Pioneer dude is like, you need to speak to the Serato dude. The Serato dude's like, speak to the Mac
Well, I
guy.
think I've learned that it's actually a combination usually.
Yeah,
it's
usually, they're not friendly.
It's usually like an issue with, if you're using Serato DJ Pro with like an SL3, it's like a nightmare.
Oh,
like
wow.
an SL3 box with Serato DJ Pro is I would never recommend.
Basically, you shouldn't use Serato DJ Pro with any Serato box.
that. Right?
Yeah.
because that's specifically tailor made for Scratch Live.
Yeah.
So you'll never probably have an issue.
But I don't do that anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I will only use the S9.
Yeah,
I'm like,
which is for Scratch for
I was,
DJ Pro.
I was gonna say I hate the sound quality on the S9.
the sound quality on the whole never bothers me. I'm just not a sound quality dude. That area of things doesn't
Really
interest me. I'm just like, can you hear the song? Okay, then fine.
I'm not really a sound quality guy either. Like I'm not too anal about it.
Yeah.
But if I can hear the issue, then I know there's a
I guess
problem.
it's,
Problem with it.
I guess you train your ear to know that stuff.
I can walk in a club and I can instantly know when someone's on an S9.
Yeah.
Because of this, it feels like we were just talking about this earlier. It feels compressed. It feels like something's pushing it down.
Yeah, if you're noticing it, then it's a problem. But
Yeah.
I think all I'm saying is I just don't notice that shit. Even shit like people always ask me, "Oh, what do you think of these headphones?" or "What do you think of this studio monitor?" I'm like, "Nah, you can hear the song, so it's fine." Like I guess I'm not very discerning in that. And I also am the same with the like quality of the video for the AV shows. I'm just ripping off YouTube.
Yeah.
And then when I do the IMAX shows, you have like pixels the size of humans. It's like- but
That's
to
gotta
me,
be pretty sick though.
to me, it's
having
a-
your shit on IMAX.
yeah,
so,
it's dope, man. Just set up a stage on front of the massive screen and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's also kind of a hip hop thing that you just sometimes you want the flavor of the bad quality to like bring you want some crackle or some. I listen to a lot of old blues, and the thing I love about it is the shit quality. I like the crackle and the hiss, and that's what. If you heard it without that, it would.
Almost you rather listen to it on vinyl than listening to it on CD.
Yeah,
because on the CD it's gonna be clear, but on the vinyl you're gonna hear that crackle.
So you like that human element.
Yeah,
of like,
and it's the same with sampling. Like when you sample off vinyl or you sample from a certain era, it adds that flavor into the sound. Yeah. And to me, that's why I don't play a lot of new stuff, because everything just sounds like it's spat out of a laptop, just so fucking sanitized, and every single fucking snare has been pitched to be the exact same. It ruins it. It takes all the soul out of it. Like it's all the errors and the mistakes and the bad technology that gives shit flavor.
I mean, any imperfections to me on any analog sound or analog recording is always going to sound amazing.
Yeah,
just because it's analog.
I mean, the other day in the studio, I so rarely just actually listen to a record. I normally just listen to Spotify. For some reason, I just was like, I put on this reggae record, just listen to the record. And it's such a cliche, but it is such a different experience, and it does sound different, and the whole experience of it there's so much more depth to it, and it's not something you can really put your finger on. But for some reason, when I'm listening to Spotify, I just feel like I'm researching. I don't feel like I'm really immersed in the music.
We're like all really listening to like snippets or previews of something, like literally 30% of what it should be sounding like.
Yeah, that's what I use Spotify for, is research. That's what I would say.
When was the last time you guys actually played or listened to a record?
Like an album?
Or just like put a record on and listen to it?
It's been years.
It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I haven't done that for a long time, and it was nice to do it, man. You got to remind yourself of that every now and then.
You feel that warmth, right?
Yeah.
Through the speakers, it just sounds. Yeah. I mean, I got to do it, but I remember every time I would play. I think back in the day, remember when we were like transitioning in Serato, and we do like the line through, and we like switch over with a piece of vinyl. Mm-hmm. And I would definitely hear the differences between the Serato MP3s,
stronger with the bass,
and then you'd like switch over with that vinyl. You're like, damn, this sounds so much better.
And if you're playing like reggae or drum and bass or something with the differences, I mean, I noticed that shit. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, shit. I missed that, but yeah. Stop using the S9, but if you really want to hear that.
No. Nothing's going to get me off that S9. That S9 for me is like the end of mixers. That mixer came out, I was like, okay, I'm done with mixers now. I'm good. I don't need anything. Like when they brought out the Rain 72 thing, I was like, nah, man, there's too many bells and whistles. I don't need all that shit. It's too complicated. The S9 is just lovely,
it's just
man.
perfectly simplified.
It's just perfect. I use everything on it. Yeah. Every fucking knob on it.
You were saying you work with Pioneer a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've helped them design mixers in the past.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What have you helped design? You can't say, or can you?
I could probably say like older ones, like the one that the S9 is more or less based on. What was it, the 909?
I don't even know.
The 2-channel.
Yeah, the 2-channel with the flicky effects thing like the S9 has. And
that was pretty much a 2-channel 900.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was real skinny.
It came out like,
Oh yeah.
like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I think that was the last one they probably made was a couple years ago.
Yeah, I
And
think
S9 just
I think
completely
Ross
replaced
One
it.
has that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like it looks like one of the old Vestax ones
Yeah.
that had Suchan. Yeah. Oh, you did design that one?
That and a bunch of other stuff. All the
That's
video
crazy.
shit they talk to me about because there's hardly anyone doing it.
So is there any? There's some exciting stuff coming from Pioneer? What?
Yeah,
because
there is.
we heard rumors about. Didn't they announce that they were shutting down the?
Or they were getting bought or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's bullshit.
Is it?
Yeah, I literally spoke to them about it like 2 weeks ago.
Why would they announce that? Do you know?
I think just clickbait. Just try. I mean, that's going to pique,
To, like, bring their stock up
DJ's
again?
interest
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say like, oh, there's going to be no more Pioneer stuff. So, oh no, don't stop Pioneer.
So they're not gonna discontinue the CDJs.
I don't know about that, man. I know nothing about CDJs. I'm CDJ ignorant. Yeah.
Wait, so you've never used CDJ?
I've never used CDJs. No,
Really?
I can't do that. No, it's just the aesthetic of it. It just
Yeah.
feels wrong for me.
Yeah.
I just gotta have like a 12-inch sized thing.
Hey, pause.
Sorry, man. Well done.
Yo, we got to go to a commercial break. that was crazy.
Nice. But yeah, I use the Rain 12s in the studio, but none of the higher companies rent them out yet. So if I could just request Rain 12s to be there, it'd probably be more reliable than the Phase.
I like the Rain 12s.
Yeah, they're dope.
I just don't know if they're gonna last.
Yeah.
No, it's a shame. I
Those
like
are
using them in the
really
studio.
nice.
Yeah.
I like the weight of the dish.
Yeah.
I like the whole make of it is really dope. I think that's more reliable than the Phase.
The phase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But for some reason, I think the Phase is just gonna.
just because it's portable like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy. I set up last night. It was easy.
When do you think? When do you think they're gonna clean everything up in a year?
Maybe, if that. I think it's going to take a whole other revision of the product. I don't know.
Jazzy Jeff told me they're about to release some kind of update for it, like some kind of.
The ANSI exploding update.
I know they're doing firmware updates, but we'll see.
Shit, man. Let's go into. This is pretty exciting. Dr. Dre, when he launched the Apple Beats One radio, he specifically asked for you to DJ the first few episodes,
Well, I guess
right?
that they had this like idea of. I don't even know if they're still doing it because I don't really listen to beats that much. But I think every week they were doing a different international DJ would do a guest mix. So for the first episode that you did for it, they wanted a British DJ, and I got asked,
Wow.
which is incredible, man.
I mean, what was that call like?
It was dope, man. You know.
Did Dre call you? Actually?
No, I didn't have him on the phone, man. It's all done through other people. But I did try and make a mix that would kind of peak his. I tried to throw a couple of things in. They'd be like,
Right,
oh
right.
shit. You know? But yeah, that's.
How,
nice,
do you know
man.
how that got about? Where your name came up?
I guess this stuff is all politics, man. Just you know.
Really?
People I know, people he knows. You know.
Yeah, and it just happened
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
It's good, man. Sometimes those things like that happen, and it's
Yeah.
it's fucking awesome, you know.
You just did the first episode, pretty much.
Yeah, just it was like one 15-minute mix. I really fell into like a thing of doing these super short mini mixes. So I think
Oh wait, how long was it?
that one was I think like it was either like 12 minutes or 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. But I did a whole run of these like 5-minute mini mixes
Mm-hmm.
for the BBC, and I just put them out. We did some of them on like little 3-inch vinyl for people to play. But it's a good like that 5-minute mini mix is a good format for me. Because I like to just drop in loads of different samples, change the beat every 4 bars, just like really intense, small, short little things.
With the so you never like talked to Dre or you never did anything
No,
like that?
no, I wasn't hanging out with Dre.
You were like imagining that he got a call from Dre.
I know. Yeah, after Dre like hit you up personally, he was like,
Yoda, what up?
I
Doing
wish
this Apple thing.
That would have been very cool. Unfortunately, that's not the way the world works.
That's pretty. I mean, I love how like you're just kind of all over the place and you've got your hands in a bunch of things. and
It's to
stuff
keep
like that,
me
right?
interested.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 25 years deep in DJing, so the only way I can carry on for this long is to every year I just try totally new things. So I've done all these mad projects over these years, man. I've worked with orchestras, done classical music stuff. I've done stuff with brass bands, worked with beatboxers.
Wow.
My last album that I just released is like a soul jazz kind of an album. I just switch it up constantly to keep me interested, because I couldn't just go out there every week doing the same thing for all these years.
It's kind of like a Z-Trip mentality to me, right?
Yeah.
Very
There's
similar.
a lot of parallels with Z-Trip, for sure.
And then, so going through this 25-year career of yours, looking back, what was the defining moment where you were like, you know, I'm sure like throughout all our careers, we want to please everyone and we want to make money and keep relations and stuff. And when do you feel like was the point where you're like, you know what, I'm just going to do my shit? And
I think that's been just gradual, man. There was no one thing that changed everything. It was, you know, for the first few years after I came back to London after university, I had a day job and I was DJing. And then there was a point where I was like DJing in 3 hours outside of London on a Thursday night, and then trying to get into work for the Friday morning and all that shit. I was like, okay, this is I got to be DJing, right? This is what I've got supposed to be doing. And then from that point on, the mixtapes, the way that they just like the numbers for that just got bigger and bigger and bigger until I was making the official mixes. Then I did the album, and it's just been these like small little steps, bit by bit by bit, and there was no one thing that like changed everything. In my own head, like completely personally for me, getting to do 2 songs with Biz Markie on my first album was like, oh shit. I was like, oh man, I don't even know what to do now, because that's all I ever really wanted to do.
Crazy.
All I ever wanted was to like produce for Biz Markie.
How did that happen? How you connect with Biz?
We were swapping records, and our shared interest is breakfast cereal.
I was about to ask you about the whole thing with your cereals. Yeah.
We both collect breakfast cereal, and we
wait, what?
He's like a big cereal fanatic.
I'm a cereal guy. My studio in London is like the whole walls are all just limited edition cereal boxes. So when I come out to the States, like this week, I come with an empty suitcase. I'm going to be hitting up Target. I'm going to be like,
Really? Any cereal? What is it?
Limited edition shit. Limited edition
What
shit.
is there limited
didn't
edition
even know there was a
cereal?
line.
Is there limited
I mean,
edition
yeah.
cereal? Come on, man.
What do you
That's
mean?
my
Like,
whole
what's
Instagram.
Wow. So do you have any like crazy Wheaties boxes with like athletes?
Yeah, well, that. But also they'll do like limited flavor runs of stuff, and I just like the aesthetic of it, man. It just looks dope to me. And
That's so interesting.
And they do. Do you remember they did that Biz Markie cereal box with the toy inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that you get like people promoting their shit with cereal boxes and stuff. So I collect all that kind of shit.
Crazy.
So anyway,
So,
that's
so
what
when you come to Vegas, where do you go to look for like different
Like Target,
cereals?
he said,
I mean,
Yeah, Target.
Any other spots?
I'll be in
Like-
LA tomorrow, so I know my spots there. Right?
You
I'm
don't
giving up
wanna
my spots,
blow it.
man.
I feel you.
Did
Is
his
this like a
research.
thing? Like various people do
There's a
this?
scene. There's enough for my like Instagram to be full
And
of it.
Biz Markie does this?
Yeah, man. So like
I
me
feel
and
like
Biz.
he collects enough shit, no?
Oh,
Like,
he's got. I don't know if he still does. He used to have a just house full of the shit that he collects. That's not his house.
I heard he had like 2 houses next to each other.
Yeah.
One house is like all his collected shit that he collects, like records,
He
Yeah.
toys
collects
and stuff.
records, he collects toys, he collects
Sneakers,
flyers,
sneakers. That's in one house.
He's
in
got
it.
the 7-inch Technics.
Yeah.
Shit. But he would call me up and be like, I just get this call from him like every couple of months. Yoda, what have you got? And he meant like cereal, but he also meant like the other thing is kids records. We both collect kids records, so Sesame Street shit. That's the shit. So we would trade
Wow.
even just CDs and stuff, and then I made some beats that I designed just for him. So we did one song all about breakfast cereal.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Wait, so this new album, who's on the new album right now? You said
yeah, the new album.
Well, no, you have like the Jungle Brothers, like you said,
Homecooking.
Ed.O.G.
Ed.O.G, Jungle Brothers are the only kind of MCs on it. The rest of it is there's a big kind of a UK jazz thing going on at the moment.
Okay.
There's a lot of really good jazz musicians. So the best people in that scene, or the people that I thought were the best, are all on this album. So they're probably not names you'd know, but
I don't know any of these. I'm gonna butcher their names.
yeah,
Joel
Joel Culpepper,
Culpepper,
very very dope singer.
Nubia Garcia.
Nubia Garcia, saxophone player. Yeah.
Well, the Jungle Brothers, I know.
Yeah, Jungle Brothers, Ed.O.G, they'll probably be the
Ed.O.G.
only names on this one you'll know.
Yeah.
You've worked with the Jungle Brothers before, right?
Yeah, I worked with Jungle Brothers on that same album that I worked with Biz on.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've produced for like Large Professor, MOP.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Boy George.
I'm about to ask you about that. Yeah.
I had
I
Action
see-
Bronson, MOP, and Boy George on the same album.
I was going to ask you about that. That's crazy. Man. How did you hook up with Boy George?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. Dude, I don't even know. I can't answer that question. He was just there one day.
It just happened.
What?
Boy George was just there.
He was just there one day. That's just what happened.
I
In the
have
UK?
quite a shitty memory, so I don't even
Oh,
know.
you too? I got a pretty bad. But I would fucking remember when I met Boy George.
Exactly.
I remember meeting him, but I just don't remember how it came about. How it came about. Yeah, I mean, it would have been through someone, but I don't know who. I guess I was known for the whole 80s pop thing as well. I was super inspired by that Spin Bad 80s mix, and I made this 80s.
For the cut and paste.
The cut and paste 80s mix.
Yeah.
How many volumes are you on right now?
I lost count, but they're all on that USB thing that I gave you. Yeah, this.
Oh, dope.
It looks like a cassette tape. Let me pass us that cassette tape. So you've lost track, but you're continuing. Are you still making them, or did you stop at like 2013 or something?
I haven't made one for a few years. I don't know whether I've decided that I've stopped doing them, but I haven't done one for a while. Wow. Yeah,
It's real clever.
All the cut and paste mixes are on that, and they're
it's a
really
flash drive.
Yeah, so it looks like a tape cassette, but it's actually a USB. And
It's
I just
really good.
Yeah.
figured all those mixes are out of print. None of them are on Spotify or anything. So just to have a place where they're all collected seemed like a cool idea.
It's pretty cool.
But the 80s one was really inspired by Spin Bad and inspired by the music that I grew up on. And I think because of that, the Boy George thing came about.
God, I really do miss just being
Cassettes.
able to. I mean, just having like music and seeing the inside,
something
what
tangible.
you wrote in here. Yeah,
My car that I drive in London has got a cassette player.
really.
And my studio's got all my tapes from when I was a teenager. So I just pick up old mixtapes every time I go to
know
the
what?
studio and listen to them as I drive
I want to
around.
ask you. I saw like some hip hop DJs that was influenced you. You was like a big Ron G fan.
Oh man, that's like.
How do you know about Ron G?
Wait,
and-
Ron G, Kid Capri, and Doo-Wop. I mean, Doo-Wop and Ron G were big mixtapes.
They were the
for the
New York
yeah.
mixtapes. So
Yeah.
when I was a teenager, it was all about trying to acquire the mixtapes from New York. However, if you had a family member that lived there, or if someone was going there on holiday, you'd be like, okay, you need to go to Canal Street. You need to, like just buy anything that says Ron G on it, buy anything that says Doo-Wop on it. And there's big up DJ MK, who's like Dizzy Rascal's DJ in London. He was like one of the first hip hop DJs that I knew in London.
Yeah.
He would sell all the mixtapes, and so
Yeah, because you rarely hear about Ron G nowadays. People don't even know who that is.
No, but he was the guy that was the first dude to mix R&B acapellas
Yeah.
over hip hop beats.
Exactly, yeah.
That spawned
Yeah.
everything, man.
That's like the beginning of the mashup. If you want to,
it's also
say that.
like there would be no like Puff Daddy
exactly
without
yeah.
that. There would be no hip hop as pop music as it is now.
Yeah.
Without that dude, and no one says.
What was
Ron
like
G.
the biggest one that Ron G did? It was over the Check the Rhyme. I forgot what it was. It was, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Sweet Tea, It's My Beat.
Over Check the
Over
Rhyme.
Check the Rhyme instrumental.
And that was like that like blew everyone's mind away.
Yeah.
I just remember that shit.
Yeah.
So
Till this
if
day,
you
yeah.
grew up on that shit, like.
And we called them blends at the time.
Blends,
Yeah,
exactly.
blends,
So
exactly.
if you grew up with blends, so then hear people call anything mashup in the year
Yeah.
2001, you're like, oh, fuck off,
It was,
man.
it
Yeah,
was
exactly,
the worst.
yeah.
It was the worst.
Yeah.
But then now you just spoke like now it's open format.
Yeah, now it's open format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open format sounds like someone in a corporate nightclub meeting, right? Definitely like just sat down and like, what do we call the hip hop DJs, but we don't scare like anybody and
Scare
bring
our
a hip hop
clientele.
crowd.
It's what- okay,
Let's
here's-
call it open format.
Well, here's where I shit on America again.
Yeah, go ahead,
Because
yeah, go ahead.
that's what Americans do is they like brand shit the fuck up and then like commercialize it and ruin it every time.
Jesus. Jesus, Yoda.
Sorry, man. I'm going in.
Keeping it 100.
I'm going in.
Damn.
Let me just say it how I see it. You know, it happened.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that definitely British DJs see America ruining was dubstep. Dubstep was this
Yeah,
very
I
cool
agree
underground
with you
thing
about that,
and it
yeah.
just got broed out, testosterone out to the max by Americans. Just
Yeah.
there's the logo for it. There's the brand.
Basically, what happened to your breakfast this morning is what we did to dubstep, right?
Exactly.
We just overdid it, right? It's too much food. What the fuck is all of this?
just
Yeah.
make it too big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like, it's really noticeable to me coming to the
It's
States.
like I think America knows how to exploit something.
You know how to commercialize
yeah,
something.
yeah.
You make money out of it. That's wicked. But a lot
Yeah.
of the time, it ruins
It
things.
ruins the value of it.
And also just I mean,
You know what it is? It makes it a fad. America, it makes
'Cause
something.
then they move on.
Yeah, because I always go back to like reggae and reggaeton, like just the way America took reggaeton, like exploited the shit out of it, and then it was like, oh, this is over now. What's
We're
the
done.
next
On
shit?
to the next thing, yeah.
And it's like, oh, Moombahton. Oh, like, yeah, that's kind of reggae and reggaeton, but it's
Yeah.
like, no, it's not. It's Moombahton. And it's like, oh, let's push this out. Let's get pop music over this. And it's just like
Exploit stuff.
a little bit, but it just creates these fads where you're just kind of like, oh, we don't listen to that anymore. But it's like, no, like it's a genre of music that represents a large, popular, like a large culture.
That's a lot of people's culture.
Yeah, it's like they're still listening to that shit. It's
but
like,
also,
you know?
this is the vibe especially in Vegas. I
Yeah.
have to say, of the clubs.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Is of the like DJ thing being a show, and the like on a stage, everyone facing the DJ. That's not the world that I grew up in at all. Like, I don't know if it was the same in New York, but certainly in London, the clubs that I started out in, the DJ would be in the corner. No one's facing the DJ. It's not even about necessarily, you're not selling the night on who the DJ is.
Right.
It was just the vibe was the important thing. People would go to that club, oh, there's a good atmosphere there.
We was just talking about that recently. I think when our trip in New York, we was talking about how the DJ booth in New York, it used to be like on the side. Like nobody like really paying attention to looking at the DJ. They was like more busy concentrating on the dance floor and the music.
So it's odd to me to see just the DJ elevated like that still.
But it's not, you're not, I mean, are you like, be honest, are you comfortable with the spotlight on you DJing in a room?
No.
I fucking hate it.
Me too.
I feel like I gotta like juggle, or I gotta do something fantastical while I'm doing this instead of
they looking at you. They expect you to do something.
I literally at this one club we do, I tell the lighting guy like they have this strong beam of light on the DJ, and I'm like, can
So
you turn that down?
off, yeah.
Just turn it down.
Yeah.
Well, with my AV shows, I'm always like, it's about the screen.
Right.
So put me in the dark. I want people to look at the screen. But it's funny because it depends on the kind of show. When I did when I was touring the album the last month in the UK, it was with a live band. So, and with Ed O.G. and Jungle Brothers and all that stuff. And Phase had just come out that week. So I kind of hate myself for doing it, but I did the like lift the record up. You know,
You're one of those guys.
Yeah, I was that dude. I was like, I kind of hated myself whilst I was doing it. I was like, this is going to look, if anyone's filming this is going to look crazy dated in like 10 years' time. But for this week, it's cool. Just whilst no one knows what Phase is.
Oh, man. Yeah. How did you enjoy last night? I like the way the DJ booth and on the record's a little out of the way, even though you're.
I'm kind of glad I didn't. I'm glad I wasn't in the main room.
Oh, you weren't in the main room?
No, I was in the bus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's even more fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like a house party kind of vibe. But when I walked through the main room and they got a drummer playing on top of the DJ, I was like, oh, thank fuck for that, man. I could not have handled that shit, man.
You don't like that? You don't like that?
Fuck that. Why would you want a drummer on top of the perfectly produced drums you're already playing? Like, sure, mime drumming, that'd be cool, but don't.
Mime drumming, like air guitar?
Yeah, exactly. But don't like, we were trying to mix records with a live drummer.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard, man.
That's what they were, I heard that. It works, I think, on certain, I think the drummer... the drummer can make it work,
To me, it's cheesy. It's like having a saxophone
with the house,
like what they do, like how they do it at Dre's. It works.
It's a very Vegas thing,
Yeah.
It's a Vegas like, you know.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. It brings a live element to everything. I don't know.
The other thing that I thought was interesting, just from having, I've heard a few of your podcasts, not like just cherry picked the ones that are relevant to me, kind of thing. But the other thing that stood out.
It's okay. We don't expect anyone to listen to our podcast.
I mean, I did sit through like 3 hours of Fat Man Scoop complaining about his publishing rights or whatever. So I feel like there's some payback.
That was a draining episode.
That was a long.
It was emotionally draining for all of us, man. For all of us that heard it.
He was recording like 2 a.m.
But the thing that pops out to me a lot is it's really interesting how I have never heard DJ AM play.
Really?
Wow.
And because he didn't release mixtapes like that, he didn't tour in Europe like that. So I get how influential he was, and probably like if I'd have been aware of him, he would have been super influential to me. And I guess what I'm doing is inspired by that, but I never heard him play.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't even really know what an AM set would have sounded like.
It's funny because a lot of people, AM sets, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, never, but they were compiled of a bunch of really outstanding routines.
Yeah. Definitely.
that he would
Oh.
and kind of idea mixes,
Yeah.
concept mixes,
Yeah.
and they were trying to all jumbled like, and then he would mix songs in between.
He did a lot of scratching.
Really?
But it was just like these standout routine mixes that just like at the time just were so groundbreaking, and they were just executed so
clean.
amazing, and it was so
It was like-
clean.
Yeah.
It was just like the Oasis one is one of those mixes. And there's probably a few others that I don't remember right now, but
But the other DJs I've been talking about,
Yeah.
like Spinbad, Jazzy Jeff,
Yeah.
he was doing something different to that.
similar. I would say almost similar. Just like I think he was just crossing this genre, just playing Journey when no one was
Yeah,
playing
he was
Journey.
like he put playing a lot more of rock into his set.
I was doing
Yeah, I know.
I was playing Journey.
But it almost goes back to what Rock the Con was saying too. Like he had all that, but then his story and the environment in which he was in kind of
Right.
catapulted him
Because
to
that's
like this superstar.
that's the reason that I brought it
status.
up. Because
Yeah.
to my mind, I'm trying to separate what was he doing technically and musically compared to like what was he doing brand wise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe the way that he pioneered was with that brand side of things.
I would even
as
say
much.
dating a celebrity like Nicole Richie, Mandy Moore, I think obviously
That
you know,
definitely helped
catapulted it.
Yeah.
But working with Nike, being in like an Entourage HBO show, being in Iron Man 2,
and what has
doing
that
red
inspired?
carpets.
Would you say like
I just
the kind of
thought-
DJs that you are around
I think
now?
for like working open format
Yeah.
mashup hip hop DJs, we would never get that kind of attention. And then he just got the opportunity to just do all of these great things. And he was a great dude that really kind of like championed other working DJs and talented dudes.
right.
And then we were just really proud to have him kind of be the guy in the forefront. And obviously, like we were all kind of doing the same thing. He had a different style. He was immensely talented and really just brought a lot of like, honestly, like these routines that he had, like the way he played Journey was not the way anyone played Journey.
How?
And
Like in what
it's
way?
just the way he did it. Like the way he did Oasis was not the way anyone would have played Oasis. He was juggling a drum beat underneath it.
So it was more than two turntables.
No, it's just
it
two
was just two
turntables. It was
turntables.
two turntables. Yeah.
So how's he juggling?
Well, I'm
one-
like one side, just juggling the drum, like
Right.
boom, 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 cat.
Oh,
boom,
right,
boom,
okay.
boom, cat.
Drumming, yeah.
Boom, yeah, drumming on the side, and then basically, just the way he mixed the certain like these songs, it just kind of made everything, just made it be like, we got to play Oasis, like
And he
that's
was
the
doing-
Oasis routine.
And he was doing that routine before Serato came out.
Yeah.
He was doing it on vinyl.
Super interesting to me because I hadn't heard him. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that he did that. But it is kind of what I was doing in London.
yeah.
Like I was saying, like I would play the hip hop, but then I would throw in like I know.
The 80s pop,
Yeah.
80s pop song or whatever. 80s
But
rock.
there's a lot of there's a lot of groundbreaking DJs that were doing a lot of those things, like Stretch Armstrong, Mark Ronson. If we want to go to like New York, Erica
Riz.
Poe,
Riz is
Soul,
doing it.
Riz. There was a whole bunch of dudes, but obviously
He had all that other stuff as well. He
was just kind of
the
like
complete
I think
package.
he had like he was just really charismatic, just like really cool
Yeah.
dude, and he was just kind of the one that kind of made it, and everyone was just kind of happy he made it, and he didn't forget about anybody,
Makes a huge difference if someone's nice.
and not
Yeah.
only nice, but they only care about the DJs. So they could be around a whole bunch of celebrities, and then they see Yoda, come here, and then you're like, yo, like he hasn't really forgotten.
There is definitely two types of people in this business.
Yeah. Like I feel like whenever he saw a DJ, he didn't care about anything. Like he would just be like, "Yo, come up, let's hang."
Yeah.
Like yo, I got to go to this after party. Let's go to the after party. But it was very much he was always kind of championing the DJs.
I feel like that about Z-Trip. Z-Trip's always,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Ronson as well. Ronson has always looked out for me and like
Yeah. I've heard great things about Ronson
he's
and
wicked,
stuff.
man.
Yeah.
He's very cool. I recorded half my album in his studio in London.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was it? Did you hear it? Were you like hearing any of the new stuff that he was working on for his new album?
No,
Not at all.
no. There was probably the era when he was more around London was when I would see a lot more of him, and that was the more Amy Winehouse, Lily Allen.
How does the UK look at Mark Ronson?
Proud. Yeah, Mark Ronson kills it in the UK.
Because
Kills it.
I don't know if he has. I know the U.S. loves Mark Ronson, but I don't think they know about his like DJing. He was like as much.
He's known as the production,
Yeah.
more so than the DJ. I think.
But
in the
he did a
States.
huge thing for the BBC last week. The BBC Radio 1, which is like the biggest pop one there is, they do like a one big kind of show somewhere in the country every year. And he did like a televised DJ set, 1 hour. And what he'll do in those kind of sets is he'll just play all of his productions. So it's the blending of the two. He killed it. He killed it, man. Just play Amy Winehouse a cappella. Just play the whole fucking a cappella. And like,
It's fucking crazy.
yeah, amazing.
He was one of my favorites in New York at that time. I think that was my favorite club era was the early 2000s. Hearing him at Park mixing like Strokes and G-Dap and Stevie Wonder and Biggie and just all of that shit.
Well, we DJ'd
you know?
together a lot in London
Yeah.
over that period. So I guess like when you're saying there were other DJs like AM doing that kind of thing, I would put
I
him
mean,
in
we
that
were all
category.
doing. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is just like if never, I guess just never blew up, you know, and just got famous and had all of these things happen. Everyone would be like, "Yo, that's the fucking G. Like he's the shit." And I'm not saying AM is no better than any of us, but he in the end he was a working DJ.
Well, it sounds
you
like
know?
he was the one that had the complete package.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just about,
He was a
yeah.
working DJ. I mean, like the dude was like what 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got a stomach surgery and he lost weight and then he just started, you know, hanging out with. He was already doing celebrity parties though, but he just became like more in the limelight. It's just one of those things where it's like,
And was he born out of hollowboard era? Like that?
probably, he put everybody on.
He was
Right.
before
Yeah.
that. Before that.
in
era.
LA, in the LA scene, he put Vice on.
Right.
He put, I would say,
Fashion.
him and Stone Rock came up together,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Fashion,
he put a
fashion,
lot of people on.
I say he kind of like brought back Jazzy Jeff.
yeah.
Was at the time nobody was like really looking for Jazzy Jeff, but
Wow.
he put him back on, and Jeff started working a little bit more, especially in Vegas. So
Well, Jeff kind of infiltrated the, like kind of the newer mashup market when
Yeah.
Jeff was just known as probably always doing his thing, but it's almost like Grandmaster Flash or any of these DJs right now. If they linked up with a high profile DJ, they would infiltrate that market a
Yeah.
little bit, and it's kind of what Jazzy Jeff
yeah.
would happen with him, and you know.
I played with Jazzy Jeff about a month ago in the UK. It was the first time I'd seen him play for a long time. And it was impressive, man.
Yeah.
It was
Oh
really
yeah, man,
impressive.
definitely, man. Yeah.
He just whittled it
He still
down
got
to
it, yeah.
just the absolute bangers of every genre.
And he's just so clean.
And so clean with it.
Yeah.
Lots of kind of stems of stuff, like
Right.
studio stems, acapellas and bits, drums and stuff. It was really good, man. I was super impressed.
Every time I hear him, technically, I'm just amazed at what he does, and it's so effortless in what he does. When you traveling as you have around everywhere, what's your favorite place to DJ?
Australia.
Australia. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's just I love it there for a start, and it's always been the best market for me outside of the UK. They have a very similar sense of humour to the British sense of humour, and so much of what I do, it's almost equating to comedy. I did one tour where I had instead of a DJ support me, I had a stand-up comedian. So we'd be in the club, and then we cut out the music, and he'd do like 20 minutes stand up, and then I'd come on. I just thought I'd try it out. See
So
how
you
that
had a
works.
comedian, you would just
Yeah.
play music in between?
No. Like so there'd be like warm up DJ, music stops, comedy for 20 minutes. I come on and do my show.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh wow.
How'd that go?
It was just
It
one.
was very mixed. Let's put it like that. I kind of felt like the more cultured, intelligent places,
Yeah.
it killed. And then the opposite, vice versa.
Well, do you like kind of doing a more sophisticated,
Yeah.
quirky room like that?
Yeah, I do.
You
I
do?
That's it's way more satisfying to me to just feel like everyone's on a level. I can put some thought into some shit, and it's not lost on people. You know,
Yeah. Where it's not just I'm playing music.
like
There's-
people are like you're saying about those kind of connections between songs, thinking about mixes, like go from this to this because of this.
Right.
That people are on the same level as you with that shit.
Yeah.
I do a lot of shit like that that's over people's heads the whole time I'm doing that. I'm like, did you notice the shit I just did? No, I bet you didn't. I did I played at a ski festival in Austria a couple of months ago, and it's pretty crazy there anyway. I did one set in an igloo on the top of a mountain in ice. The other set I did was in a butcher's shop surrounded by meat. And they packed out this butcher shop with like 100 people, 200 people. And I played all meat-based meat-based hip-hop. Play like Tim Dog, straight from the butcher's shop, you know, just doubling up with that BDP beef. Just like finding meat songs. And I'm like playing them thinking, this is over. No, people aren't even clocking this shit. Like, this is just for me. I'm like, I'm finding it funny and people don't even notice. I think you can't overestimate the crowds.
So what entertains you the most, or what do you get the most out of just like putting these things together?
Yeah, man. Yeah. The AV shows, I found it's a really nice to theme them. So I have like a menu of shows that I can offer people. I have like one that's a history of video games. So it starts with Pong and Pac-Man and works its way up to the current day of video games, and all the music makes sense. The Tetris music with the Tetris bit, and Mario music, all the
that's cool.
The Smith and Wesson shit that samples the Mario, where you know, all that shit. So it's all kind of themed and makes sense. I've one show that's like best of sci-fi movies. There's all Alien and Terminator and all that. I have like a Stranger Things show.
I noticed that mixtape, Was
So
that part, would Netflix hire you to do that, or you did that on your own?
I did it on my own. So the mixtape came first. I just finished watching the first season of Stranger Things, and the music choices were so good in it that I just wanted to make a mix. Yeah. And it's so funny, man. I did that mix in one afternoon, and it's had more hits than anything. All the shit that I put like 3 years work into.
You did like a tour around it a little bit,
so the mix went viral, and so I put together an AV show and toured the AV show.
Wow.
Yeah, which is just like all bits from the series, but then also all the other movies that inspired it, and
80s movies,
80s shit, and all the music that's kind of relevant.
That sounds awesome, though.
Yeah, it's a great show, man. I really enjoyed touring that one, and the tech side of that show was much more complex than other shit I've done. I worked with a VJ, and we MIDI mapped the S9 so that all the shit that I was doing was affecting his visuals as well, and I can throw between his visuals and my visuals on the S9, so I could like cut in, scratch a bit from Stranger Things, and then blend back into his visuals. It's a clever show.
So you didn't expect anything out this mixtape? You just like, fucking, I'm gonna put this out?
Yeah, I've done loads of shit like that. The albums take years to make. The mixtapes can take anything from like 2 months right down to one afternoon. That one I did in one afternoon, and now it's had like 1 million plays.
That's crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But I realized it's timing. You know, like people wanted a collection of those songs at that time. I just did it before the Netflix guys did.
Did anyone from them hit you up or hear about it?
Yeah, I spoke to Netflix about it. We talked about doing launch parties. Nothing ever came through. But
So when you approach a club night, I mean, you'd rather do like a conceptual themed.
The AV shows are themed like that. I just find that I do have like a kind of non-themed AV show that I do, but it's kind of when you don't have limits on genre or on anything, it's a bit overwhelming sometimes to think about what to play.
Right.
Because my digging for the AV shows is YouTube.
Because you can't really read a crowd, right? Or can you?
Well, you can now with the Serato video. The way it's set up, it's actually a lot more fluid. If I feel like, this crowd want reggae, then I can go into reggae and make it work with the AV or anything. But to sit in front of YouTube and think like, what's some cool shit?
Right.
it's too much. Where do you begin? So I found that theming the AV shows is a good way of doing it. And the DJ sets are much more, I just turn up, get a feel for the room and take off in that direction.
Do you feel like you still keep up with the new music? You just limit yourself with no Drake and no Rihanna?
I just play what I like. There's always new shit that I like.
With some of the new stuff.
I like Old Town Road.
Really?
Yeah. I like country shit.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. There's been some shit remixes of that though. Some that really don't work.
I mean, there's always a lot of shit remixes for any hit song. Are you feeling like what are some of the bigger songs that's been coming out? this year.
I'm gonna almost certainly say no to whatever you say, but be honest. For
Really?
now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this year has just been a horrible year
just
for
music being
just kind of
kinda
club
like-
music.
Yeah.
Last year was pretty bad, but
There's
I think
better
this year,
underground hip hop now.
Yeah. There's
Like
better
5 years
albums.
ago, I wouldn't. There was not really underground hip hop that I like, but now there's definitely shit coming out.
Yeah. That new Tyler, the creator.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing for the club, but it's a really listenable and great album.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one's really making shit for clubs right now.
No, none of that shit is. I wouldn't play any of that. I like all the kind of Alchemist produced stuff.
So you're not
I
playing
love
like you're
Alchemist,
not playing
yeah.
City Girls.
I'm not playing City Girls. Man. I'm up on it. Like I keep up on all the new stuff.
Okay.
I would do that naturally, even if I
Yeah.
wasn't DJing. I'd want to know like all the new music, and stuff does come out that I like, and I play
Yeah.
it when it does.
Or like Cardi B. You're not fucking with Cardi.
Cardi B's okay.
I don't know.
Are there
I could
any,
see him not liking Blueface, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
Are there any UK artists, up and coming artists?
Yeah,
that
man.
you
Well,
like,
the grime thing in the UK, I'd play that stuff more than I would play the big
Yeah.
commercial American
It's
stuff.
fucking crazy out there with the grime, UK
It's
grime.
it exploded in a way that it never did with UK hip hop, early grime stuff. This is pop now. It's pop.
It is now. It is.
Yeah, and it's good as well. Like Stormzy is wicked.
That new
Skepta
re-
is
yeah.
amazing.
Stormzy's dope.
He's fucking
Yeah.
amazing, man. Like that Vossi Bop, I play that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
new shit that I play. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
You playing Bossy?
No, not really.
Nah, you're not feeling that.
What do you ask him?
Bossy?
Oh, Boasty.
Boasty, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Boasty,
sorry.
yeah.
Yes, I definitely playing
With,
that. Man.
Steflon?
That's incredible.
Like
man.
Khalees, Bossy.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. That's just
No,
like,
no,
what are you
no,
asking me
sorry.
about, please? Yeah,
Boasty.
the Boasty I'm playing, and that's just such a DJ friendly song, man.
Yeah.
But
even-
that's definitely a to me like an international record that the U.S. would not understand.
really.
Yeah, it's
It's a
when
great
it-
record, though.
It's something that I know would hit in the UK.
Oh, huge.
And it's like borderline. It'll hit with reggae and Afrobeat that
Yeah.
crowd.
In between.
But it's so like I feel like the US doesn't get it.
Because of the slang, or like the kind of.
I mean, have you
'cause
guys
of
been
the
playing
vocals?
it?
I've been playing it at the pools.
But
And
it
I'll
doesn't.
play it.
It's not hitting like.
Yeah, I love it. I think
Yeah.
I probably
I love it too,
more.
yeah.
I
probably
played it
love
last night. I played it last
Yeah.
night. on
It
the
could be the
record.
marketing of the record. I don't know.
Did you get
I
any
don't know.
The
reaction?
video is amazing. You seen the video for it?
haven't
No.
seen the
Yeah,
video.
it's really dope.
The video is very dope. But there's just the fact that there's a cappella and an instrumental. Like you don't get that very much.
Oh, they pushed an acapella.
Yeah, man.
An
And
official acapella.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
proper acapella of it, and it works really well. So yeah, that's
That's
all
got to
that
be
stuff.
one of my top favorite records that's been released this year.
I agree.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
I'm
I
a big
want
Skepta fan, so
Skepta's dope, man.
UK
Yeah.
grime is such like I don't know anything about it, but every time I hear it, I'm just amazed by it because
Yeah.
it's so fucking aggressive and raw.
yeah.
And there's drill. You know about drill music?
No.
No.
No, what is
Drill
that?
is like the underground grime now because grime is now pop.
Damn.
Yeah, look up drill. I mean,
Layers.
I'll be honest. There's not too much of it.
Are you and you're playing that?
No, there's
No?
not too
It's
much.
too hard?
Too hard.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yes. Yeah, it's
I would-
interesting.
it's funny because when I hear UK grime, they're almost sounding like they're rhyming off beat, but they're on beat. But they're kind of just talking.
It's like mumble rap in a way. It's
It's
that,
like block on from the block on. Daughter, daughter. For favorite talk daughter to the walker. And then the beat's like from the liter. And then box to the liter.
It's actually quite-
From the box from the
he's quite good at that.
Yeah, some shit, right? I'm not off, right? And then the whole time I'm like, yo, this motherfucker's speaking English. I don't understand what this fucking guy's
yeah,
saying.
there's
yo.
a lot of slang in it. Even I don't know, man.
There's a lot of. I wanted to talk to you about that. You could break it down for me a little bit more. If you, when I went to London, there's like a Jamaican / English
Accent.
accent that
That's
they
how
have there.
that's how the kids speak now.
Right.
White kids, every kid. There's like a kind of hybrid Jamaican.
So like hood motherfuckers would be like, yeah, big man ting, man. But like
Yeah.
big man ting, and you're like, wait, what's this fucking Jamaican or English?
yeah, it's that Jamaican influence in the UK.
And it's funny because, like in Toronto, there's also a kind of like Jamaican, influence. So when
island scene.
motherfuckers be talking about like Drake, you don't like him, but he'll like speak in like a Jamaican
Like a
kind of
patois
accent, yeah, a little
kinda-
bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of borderline Toronto.
Yeah, there's
UK.
a Canadian,
Yeah.
there's a Canadian, Jamaican, British
But he kind of
culturally.
mixes it up back and forth sometimes. Like he'll fuck with it.
A lot of the people
bit.
that I know in Britain will look at Drake with a raised eyebrow.
He
about
kind of
that,
like
you know?
took a little bit of that. Yeah.
It's
He
a
kind
little
of did that
uncomfortable.
for the More Life album a little bit, right?
Yeah, there was that one album because he was doing the Top Boy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was definitely taking a little bit of that, but he was kind of.
But you
highlighting,
can't help
know?
but be influenced. Like the music, I grew up with pirate radio in the UK, and that was all dancehall, drum and bass. And so that style of MCing, again, that kind of like super cat type.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that just infiltrates through everything. It infiltrates through pop music. It just is there everywhere in the UK in a way that it isn't so much. You would see it in New York, but not so much in the rest of the states, right?
I don't. I don't. I want to learn more about UK Grime, so I'm gonna ask you maybe for a couple folders of that shit. 'Cause that shit is hard, man.
JME, JME is my favorite grime MC, probably. You know him?
No, I never heard of him.
Skepta's brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he's
Yeah.
just got more kind of he's a little more kind of comedic. I don't know. He's funnier.
Yeah,
Skepta's
real
Skepta's
street.
straight. He's
Yeah.
he's like a kind of Nas type.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that's ever gonna hit over here in the States?
I can't predict this shit anymore. I got no idea. I don't feel like I have any gauge of what shit is going to be popular or not. I got no idea. It surprised me that it's reached the level it has done. I don't really know what are the kind of biggest grime tracks here that have ever, like, are there even Skepta tracks that you would have played or Stormzy tracks that you
At like maybe 2 years ago,
Mm.
I think there was some UK Grime records getting forwarded to people.
But they never hit in the way that.
But I never got a chance to play it. But I would hear my boys playing the shit, and it sounded dope. And I'd be like, "Yo, I need that." I don't remember the record, but they would send it to me.
All I know that it's definitely infiltrated this market in a way that the kind of British hip hop of the 90s never did. That none of that stuff hit here. I doubt you could even name an MC from that period.
UK.
I can't.
And it was huge. It was huge in the UK. You know, I'm talking about like Roots Maneuver, Black Twang.
No.
All these guys were like superstars.
Name some more.
Yeah.
Lewis Parker's dope. If you,
Nah, I never heard of him.
just knowing the kind of music that you guys would like, you would love it.
For real.
Yeah.
I think Stormzy has potential.
Yeah, man.
To-
He's a pop star.
Yeah,
He's a
I
star.
love his song, man. Like the new one, probably it sounds a lot like "Believe Me" by Lil Wayne and Drake. If you listen to the beat,
Right.
very similar. So I think people gravitate towards it because of that a little bit. But I mean, just his flow, man. Like he's nasty.
I always like my favorite MCs are the ones who I just interested in anything that they say. You don't get bored of hearing what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I put Stormzy in that category. I'm like listening to everything he's saying. I'm clocking it all.
Yeah.
Like he's just good.
DJing in the UK, like the newer generation of DJs that you're seeing, like what are you?
I mean, I'm seeing some awful, terrible shit, man. People playing off fucking iPads and
Controllers
iPhones
and stuff.
Are you seeing that a lot in the
Yeah,
UK?
I've seen that a lot, man.
Is it more about the image of
Yeah.
being a DJ
Yeah.
than DJ?
And it's more about the brand of like you get these kind of reality show stars, UK reality show stars.
Oh, so the same thing's happening.
Same thing,
Same
yeah.
thing.
It's not about
Like there's this influencer takeover in the DJ market.
That's the same in the UK, definitely. Because most of the stuff I do now, the club scene in London isn't like how it used to be. There used to be super clubs. It would be Fabric, Ministry of Sound. There were big venues. That doesn't exist anymore. It's all tiny little places. And really the market for it was the festivals, the music festivals. There are now like, I think it's something like 600 music festivals in the UK every summer. So my summer is like 3, 4, 5 music festivals every weekend bouncing around the country. That's where it's all going on. And they're booking these things in the same way that they probably book here, like looking at numbers of followers and all that shit.
Yeah.
So is there a generation though that, there's always an anti to what's going on?
I feel like there isn't at the moment. There's no like scene for anything at the moment, is there? There's no like, what's the like most?
I'm noticing at the same time I'm noticing in the U.S. the influencer scene but I'm also noticing a very young turntablist scene that's coming up.
There's a lot of that, but
that's
none of
why
that's the
the-
stuff
yeah.
that gets booked for clubs or anything.
I think it's slowly starting to.
I
a
hope
little
you're right.
bit, yeah.
I do, but I don't see any.
But you don't see
sign
these
of
like
that.
burgeoning young DJs coming up in the UK. Not really.
No, not right
yet.
now, man. No.
It's tough.
Everyone finds their lane. There's like the dancehall guy. There is the
Yeah.
the guys that I know who would kill it in the UK is the hip hop karaoke guys. So it's a karaoke thing, but for hip hop tracks with the MC, and they go around, they smash it everywhere, man. The festivals everywhere,
Wow.
all kinds of parties, and that kills it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shit, that's so crazy right now. What do you call? Is there in London? Is there anywhere you're DJing that, like, you know, if we're out there, we could check you out, like on
Yeah, I mean,
weekly,
it's
monthly, or
it's
whatever?
no residency situation anymore.
Yeah.
I switch it up, and I just try and do as interesting stuff as possible. So my next big London show is the Natural History Museum, underneath the big dinosaur or whatever they have, like kind of museum, kind of. It's about like playing in interesting places.
Yeah, yeah.
More than it is like, oh, there's this club that goes on every month. It's more about finding interesting environments to play in, and there's a lot of scope for that. I've played in the British Library, which is like the great thing. It's
crazy.
Yeah, just all that kind of stuff. Like, that's what interests me, is like taking turntables into places where you might not expect them.
Yeah.
So it's like you find this really great niche of like kind of corporate events a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then pushing that.
Yeah.
I just love introducing. I mean, this is on an international level, but I love introducing like our listeners to just not the usual club festival.
Well, exactly, man.
you
That's
know,
that's why I say,
you
like,
know.
I heard a few episodes of your podcast. I was like,
Yeah.
I've got stuff to say about this, because there's a lot that we, in the Venn diagram of it, there's in the middle, there's a lot of shit that we share, like experience-wise, music-wise, but then I'm coming at it from a slightly different place. It's just a bit weirder, and I don't know. It's a different scene, and I think you guys it's fascinating what's going on here, but it's a bubble. And you're in a bubble.
Yeah, we're definitely in a bubble. Yeah. But we're also, you're talking to like three guys who have we're borderline whores in the fact that, you know, we've actually submitted to what clubs want, what promoters want, and what crowds want. You know.
And I get that. I was chatting to
Yeah.
my about that earlier. Like, I totally get it, man. Like, it's an industry. And it's a very specific one. It's a really specific scene out
Right.
there. It's fascinating to me, because it's nothing like the world that I operate in.
But it's great because I think what you've done is you've built a niche market for yourself that's really built on you being as true to yourself as possible.
Yeah.
So if you stay on, if your target for marketing is just to make sure you're doing stuff that's, you know, authentic to you, you're never
then you
really
create
gonna-
your own lane naturally.
You're never going to be
Yeah.
off market. You know what I mean? It's
I
not
know.
like So
and like I say, first of all, it's the only way that I could stay sane doing this for this long.
Yeah.
Is to stay authentic like that. But also, just in the amount of time that I do it, I've seen DJs start and burn themselves out and disappear countless times. Happened a lot with dubstep.
really. You're going to blame the U.S. again? What did we do?
No, this is not a US problem, a British problem. But you know, people come up, ally themselves to a very specific sound or a scene, and then because they've done that, when that scene becomes unfashionable, their career's over.
I've seen that also as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And that's
we've all
why-
seen that a bit here.
Yeah, and that's
even
why
in
I
the
found
city.
that, like, if I don't immerse myself in any of those scenes and kind of navigating through it all, making my own path, then I want to be in this for the long haul, man.
You got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, when you get a lot of the time, I mean, it's not. It can also be like the lifestyle of the nightclub scene, like a corporate event. Way to go is definitely a healthier line of work.
Yeah, physically.
Yeah.
And just the people you're around. They're not like toxic people.
Yes.
In the nightclub, because being in a
Yes.
nightclub, you're just around toxic fucking people.
I mean,
And maybe
I
that's
think-
what you're talking about with the dubstep scene.
No,
No.
but I totally agree with what you're saying. You're being too polite about it, though. Like, you're surrounded by dicks.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, you're surrounded by a bunch of shit. You're surrounded by like
I couldn't believe.
drugs and like liquor and just
Yeah.
I mean
Some guy came up to me last night and just tapped me on the shoulder and was just like, Stormzy. I was like, wow. How about hi? How about excuse me? Could you play some? Just none of that. Just Stormzy.
Well, he knows who you were then, huh?
Oh, I don't know, but like I don't know.
No one requests Stormzy.
I know,
out there.
yeah, especially
You
in
have to know,
Vegas,
like,
man.
yo, that's Yoda. It's from UK.
I guess
Stormzy.
he must have known that as.
I would have been like, hey, you don't see it as like, hey, UK brother. Like,
No, I say that as like, be polite, motherfucker.
oh man, imagine, what you need to do is do like an experiment. Stay here for a month and do
I think I would go insane.
Do a social experiment real
yeah,
quick.
social experiment. DJ, like that should be like a game show or like a reality show.
Yeah.
To DJ in Vegas 3 nights a week
For a month.
for 2 months.
Two months.
I couldn't do it.
2 months.
I couldn't do what you guys do. I
think- I
respect
think
you
a
for
month.
it. I respect you for it. In all honesty,
It'll be like
I do.
Survivor.
It would be like Survivor.
Like losing weight and just drinking.
Yeah, I don't know. There's plenty of positives with it. You know, like, I couldn't believe what was really weird for me last night was finishing DJing at 3 a.m. and the food and drink options at that time were so fucking dope, man. In the UK, you finish at 3 in the morning. You're like, there's not even a McDonald's. There's nothing. You know.
Not in Vegas. Man.
Not in Vegas, man. I had a fresh coconut. I was like, what? This is crazy.
The only thing open in London late night is like a like gyro places, right?
Yeah, kebabs.
Kebabs, yeah.
And
they're like everywhere.
yeah.
And you don't like that, or you're just tired of it.
No, you know these spots. They're not where you don't want to be eating them.
It's like French fries and gyros and just
Yeah.
They have these like they call them the elephant legs spinning in the window. You know,
Yeah,
the kind
yeah.
of like big hunk of meat on the thing.
The
nasty,
Euro
man.
shits, the gyro shits. I was one to say everyone shits on the food in London.
Yeah, right. So,
Are you going to back it up? Or
well, first of all, like 10, 15 years ago, that's fair.
yeah.
It's changed, but the difference is that you need to know where you're going. You need your man on the ground. Like I would take you to the spots, and it's incredible food. But if you just went, if you went to one of those kebab places, or just you didn't know where you're going, there's still a lot.
There
of
was
shit.
one day when I was by myself with Mo at late night, and we were like, "There's the fucking food sucks here." But I think we were.
If you went to the wrong place,
we were just in the wrong
Didn't you
area.
say you had
Totally
like
have that
fish and
experience.
chips?
Yeah, but we didn't even want to eat it. We were just like, this is fucking. It
Filth.
was like the cliche shit of like, yo, London has the fucking worst food in the whole shit.
No,
but
there
then
were
like the next 2 days, we were hanging out with locals,
right?
and we were having like amazing fucking.
There were incredible
Yeah.
spots. You just need to know them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just want to know like from your.
Yeah, I'm like a food obsessed. This is the whole like for me, it's the like best thing about getting to travel around the world every week is just eating everywhere. Like getting to eat in Tokyo, you know, getting to eat in Sydney, getting to eat in Cape Town. Like that's
Milo should have taken you to like a dim sum breakfast or something out here. Yo,
you know what I looked up
dim sum.
before I got to Vegas or got to America was like I just Googled like what were all the restaurants in the Ugly Delicious. Do you ever see that thing?
Yeah.
The Momofuku guy.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
just all the places he ate at. I was like, because there's a couple in Vegas. He's got a restaurant here, and then there's some noodle place in Vegas that he went to in the show. Chinese.
There's a few out here.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that shit. And text me next time. I'll take you to some dope spots. Yeah.
Man.
Chengdu, he would have loved
I know, yeah,
Chengdu,
man.
Raku.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of spots out here. Manta.
Oh God. My
It's
my
fucking
mistake
good.
in America every time is I have the breakfast like the one I had this morning,
Yeah.
and then I'm just not hungry again the whole day. And I'm like, I ate too much. I've ruined it. There's too many places. Like having one night in New York the other night was stressful for me. I've got one dinner in New York. Where do you go? Like if you've only get one New York dinner per year.
That's true.
I can't remember where I went now. I went for pizza.
Oh man, that's not the way to go. I want to go back to the real quick to the cut and paste mixtapes and the cassette tape. Are you going to continue that, or
I don't really know at this stage. Like that
seems like a legacy thing, though? You know?
Yeah, I'm sure I will at some point. I really enjoyed making this last album, the Homecooking album one. Is much more. I'm much prouder of it than anything that I've done before. It's accomplished in a different way. They're not beats anymore. They're like songs, songwriting, musicians. I recorded half of it at Ronson's place, half of it at Abbey Road.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And all these like musicians were serious caliber musicians, and I was treating the stuff I was recording like samples. So like cutting up stuff they've done and just approaching it with like a kind of hip hop producer mentality. And that, it was just a really great way of doing stuff. Like I would start with these demos by making a hip hop beat with a sample, but by the time I layered all this stuff on top of it, I'd whip the sample away at the end. So it's just been a good technique for doing stuff. And it's
kind of use it as a starting point, right?
Yeah. And now it's kind of given me a taste for taking that even further. So I'm going to get into more production stuff.
How is
like
the
that.
sound quality like?
I don't know.
I mean recording in like.
Oh, Abbey Road.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible, man. Incredible.
Do you hear it?
Yeah. It's like I say, man, I don't notice this stuff very often.
Yeah.
So it has to be something pretty extreme for me to notice it. And yeah.
What did you notice it with, like vocals or just?
We recorded a lot of vocals there. We recorded cello there, a lot of percussion. And
is it the mixing board? Like,
it's
what is
the engineer.
It is.
The engineers that I dealt with there were like on a different level to anyone else that I've dealt with. They just set the shit up right. They really know what they're doing. And the material that I took away from those sessions, you listen to it in comparison to other stuff I've recorded. I was like, oh wow, this is something else.
So that was definitely at the top.
And frankly, like just getting to say to all the musicians that I wanted to record with, it's at Abbey Road.
Yeah.
It makes them come out. Like I did one track with Omar on this album, and just so I was like, Omar, I'm at Abbey Road. He's like, okay, I'm coming. Yeah. Whereas if you're like, hey, come to my studio,
Yeah,
it's not.
I mean, saying come to Mark Ronson studio is not bad either.
That's not
right?
bad too. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know about the mixes. Like I will always make mixes like that. Yeah. I just I like the theming of it. So I did the country and western one. I did one that was all like 1930s music, but mixed with beats and stuff. So when a topic comes up that piques my interest, then that's when I'll make the next one. Yeah.
It's awesome. Great.
That's dope, yeah.
Well, like if we're gonna kind of close it all up, but if there was a list or a couple UK DJs that you would recommend us seeing or trying to get on the podcast, who do you think it would be?
Wow. I mean, my favorite DJ, British DJ, is David Rodigan. Do you know about him?
No, I never heard of him.
So a white guy that's about, he must be in his late 60s. He's played reggae since he was a kid.
Wow.
And it's all about dub plates, it's all about specials, but the passion that he brings to it, he's like 68, jumping all over the place, screaming on the mic, standing on the turntables and shit.
Sounds
No
like
way.
Scooter.
He's not a technical DJ, but just to watch someone with that passion is incredible every time. So,
Wow.
yeah, he's my favorite.
Awesome, man.
Damn.
Hey, Yoda, is there anything you want to
We got to cover a good range
I
of
mean,
stuff.
it's
man.
definitely a pleasure having you on
Yeah,
here,
man.
man.
Thanks for
And,
coming
thank
through.
you,
Thank you for having me. I
and
really appreciate
apologies in advance for any other whatever American
American.
gripes you
it.
have.
Just make sure you apologize for being American to
Okay.
every Brit you speak
Definitely.
to, and you'll be good.
Okay, definitely, man. I appreciate it. He didn't really shit on America too much. on
Just the
this.
beginning.
Just
the beginning.
A little in the
Until-
middle, a little
Buffalo,
spring-
yeah.
If I listen to it again, there were probably those little British
Some
flicks.
subliminals.
The darts,
Yeah, right.
British darts.
Yeah, a little bit. He was just tossing it a little bit, but yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Good to have you, man. Big shout out to DJ Yoda. Thank you for coming through, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
And then if you want to see the video, every Friday we're showing the videos on YouTube. It's going to be youtube.com/Road Podcast. And the episode was brought to you by DJ City. Definitely check out djcity.com. And we out. Peace.
Sure. Peace.